misconceptions. We've got truth in our possession. No room for doubt, no time to waste. It's time to put flat Earth in its place. Here comes the smackdown.
Welcome everybody to Tuesday night on a Thursday. I'm your host MC Toon, where it's always, I should say it in the right order, I didn't, where it's always Tuesday night. You see, it was disconnected from, anyway, forget. Anyway, so tonight I will be on the Globe Gangsters Discord server. The link is in the description if you're interested in joining. There's two parts to it. There's the base layer. The base layer is it's this is the cake part of it, is discussing with normal people thoughts about the trip to Antarctica, because I'm going to Antarctica to destroy flat Earth, and I'm going to watch flat earthers in Antarctica while flat Earth is destroyed. It's going to be great. I'm going to bring the video to you. You're going to love it too. Anyway, so I'm going to go there to discuss with normal people what they think about it. That's the base. Now, Sea Lion Prime, who just right here, this one right here, just said, "Sup, boys and girls." Sea Lion Prime, that's his server, his Discord server, and he's invited a couple flatties. We'll see if they show up. Anyway, that's the plan for tonight. I need to show you a couple things though first. You probably know, you may know, that I like to play Ultimate Frisbee. Tonight is the community pickup game. We had a bunch of people there today. We had 2 games going on 2 fields, and somebody shows up. He's like, "Hey, I was just at Goodwill. I almost bought a book for you. It's about flat Earth." I'm like, "Oh, dude, tell me." And he told me where it was. So I went there afterwards, and I got the book. I want to show you what it is that I got. So, well, this wasn't it. This was just sitting here. I don't know why it was sitting here. Anyway, hi King Crew. Anyway, so here's the book that he said was there. I picked it up, but I'm like, oh, it's Thomas Friedman. It's not actually about the people thinking the Earth is flat. It's more like it's politics and finance. But I did find another book that might be useful in case we know anybody that maybe is, has an aptitude for math, to maybe do a little brush up and studying, so that person could maybe use this book. So there you go. I mean, that might be a good help for that person. So anyway, I don't know how old it is. It's certainly not a new book. Anyway, there is there's my my fun for the evening. All right, fun for the this is the fun for the evening. That was just going and getting a couple of cool books. I don't know. I probably won't read the Friedman book. Anyway, I'm going to be jumping over onto the Discord server. Here's what the Discord server looks like right now. And there's this debate speak restriction. Look at that. There's a bunch of people there already. So here we go. I don't have permission to speak there. Okay.
What's up, Dan?
There we go. I'm currently muted.
Nothing. I'm not going. Are we going backwards?
No.
It's Dan the Waterman. He's a flatty.
I don't think so, Dan.
All right. Well, it seems like we are, if we're talking about the initial 24 people that Duffy reached out to, and none of them, not one of them, responded. He then began to reach out individually.
All right, leaving and rejoining for some reason.
Up on Weiss, which is the crazy part.
Back.
But evidently Weiss said no, which shocks me that he even got through to Weiss to say no.
I was
What did you
kind of
say, Noah?
hoping. I was kind of hoping, Dan. To be honest with you, I was kind of hoping like Weiss or Sargent or one of these guys would have at least, after saying multiple times over and over again, they would have been like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's go." So I mean, I respect Jaron and Whitsitt if they do go, because they both said the same thing.
I think
actually they both danced around it and pushed out pretty bad. Jared's like, I'm not going alone. And then Winston's like, it's not safe. It's like, come on. It took them 3 weeks or more.
3 months.
No, I mean,
it was 3 months.
I mean, 3 months.
3
Yeah,
months.
No, I meant the claim like, the only way to prove this shit is to go to the South, see if this thing sets or not. Which they all said it. So
Yeah.
I'm just glad some of them are putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, if you actually go, I think that you fail to reach grifter status if you actually go, and if you reject going, then you very much might qualify as grifter. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Toon.
Hey.
Hello.
All right.
So we have a few people that came over. I welcome Yasuke, who came over from Earth Awakenings. We have Gakushi, and we have Dan the Waterman. So we do have a few people represented from the Flat Earth side. Yeah. Welcome,
right.
guys. Thanks for stopping in.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm it's been a little weird. It's been like pulling teeth to get any sort of affirmative claim or from anybody that thinks the Earth is flat about Antarctica. Now that the option's on the table, it's quite educational to everybody watching.
Are we confirmed that there will be at least 3 flat earthers going, right? Jaron, Whitsitt, and the young lady from the clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yeah, Lisbeth. So yeah, Will told me that all 3 of them have had their complete packages paid for to ALE. So they're in. They're confirmed.
What's the clubhouse? What's
Clubhouse is a social media platform that's mostly just talking, and then they added in text chat. So it's a bit like Discord, without the ability to share any sort of video or pictures. We can paste pictures in the chat. They can't there. They can do links, and so everybody on Clubhouse. Almost everybody's on phones. There's a desktop app, but it's not what people use. And if they ever want to send a picture, they change their avatar picture and say, "Hey, check out my." It's not called the avatar. I forgot what it's called, but they're like, "Hey, here it is. Check out my avatar." And that's how they actually send pictures in Clubhouse. It's a little limiting. So.
When it was first introduced, it was mostly with Apple iPhones, and then later came an Android version. And there is a unofficial Windows app, but it's not put out by them.
Yeah, I use on the Mac. I use it's called Club Deck. So, yeah,
That works on Windows as well. Yeah, it's Club Deck.
Yeah,
And it works well.
I've been away for over a week with work. So did the GoFundMe for Liz go through? Because I donated.
So the GoFundMe did well, but then somebody stepped forward and said that he would pay for her entire packet,
Awesome.
the entire thing. So he
Amazing.
he paid before Will announced anything. He verified with ALE that they had received all the funds. So she's in. With ALE, and then Will is using I don't know the details, but he's using the GoFundMe to pay for the trip, the flights, the hotel. You got a room and board before and after, and you have a bunch of gear that they send you a list of gear you need to buy. So So, Flatties, any of you there bold enough to declare what you think, your actual like prediction? Here is what the flat Earth requires, and if it doesn't, then Earth not flat. Any of you have that? Because I say that for the globe, I'm happy to say at local solar midnight, the sun will be 13 degrees elevation. And if it's not, that's a big problem. And I will, if it sets, or if it only stays north, right? It goes northwest and then northeast. Then I will say that the Earth is flat, and I will put a video on my channel and delete all my globe content. That's how bold I am. That's how confident I am. And so, Flatties, do you have any confidence?
So, there are three primary positions that, like, most people kind of go into. Is that either one, the trip isn't going to happen, because for one reason or another, they just don't want, like, either if it is globe or is flat, they still want like the ambiguity to stay there and the arguments to continue happening. Either that position, or finding some cope for why there is a 24-hour sun, or that it doesn't matter what the sky has. Those are the three primary positions that most people have had. We all agree on that?
That is what I've mostly heard, yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm probably the only person that exists that thinks that it will go through and there will be a setting sun. I think I'm the only flat earther that has that position, and I could lay everything out for that. I would just need like a little bit of time
to lay out that's what you
okay,
think
the
it
issue is then if there is a sun, then it doesn't work on the flat earth.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we're just making predictions here. So my prediction is that the experiment will happen, and there will be a setting sun.
Okay.
As in, like, yeah. So in the idea of if it is flat, let's just go with that presupposition, and they wanted to continue hiding it, then they would not let this experiment go through. But if you're under the conception that I have in that, like, there are so many, I mean, I would just kind of have to go from the beginning with this. Essentially, it boils down to Pepsi. Pepsi reverted to their original logo, and in Walmart and other various stores, they're starting to sell soda with real sugar. And in some ways, you could see that as sort of an admittance that the things that they've been doing in the past are bad. That they're saying that, oh, hey, this thing that we used to do, it's actually good, and so we're going to start marketing it again. And in the same way of, there's so many examples of this in sort of like a corporate awakening, to where so many things that would have been considered wild conspiracy theories in like very niche groups 10 years ago are all of a sudden being pushed by like literal corporations or like corporate media.
Like what?
It's also under huge debate, the definition of sugars, because they've been able, where C&H Sugar got sued because they said it was pure cane sugar from
Hawaii.
California and Hawaii.
That was a song.
It was mostly sugar beets. And now there's all these corn products making similar to sugars.
Dan, that's not the topic.
Very much to have the sugar product be called, the corn product be called a sugar.
Okay,
what happens? What happens, Yaz, if like the sun actually doesn't set? What do you think, Yaz? Like, just think about it for a second, because I'm with McToon on this one, and I've said this on Earth Awakenings. I've said this multiple times. I told Jeremy, Geo, and I were like spent 3 days fucking looking at photos down there. I told him over and over again, if that fucking sun sets, I am fucking straight up flatty. I'm a flatty from here on out. Well,
it doesn't work on any other model. That's the thing.
Well, okay. So what?
No,
so
yeah,
what
I'm pretty confident in the idea of their. Yeah, I'm pretty confident in the idea of there not. Yeah. So I'm pretty confident in there not being one, and I don't feel the need to like make models or copes that would explain one as such. And if one does happen, then I'm willing to just throw away.
That's the purpose of this discussion, right? Is to challenge
here's the
your own
thing.
paradigms, right? To think about it. Just challenge your own paradigms, right? And just think about for a second. If my entire world paradigm, my world truth is challenged and it's clear evidence, what does that mean? That's the point.
Would you be willing to become a glober if the sun does not set?
I mean, yeah, the globe model would be the one that would best explain it. Although, like, you don't have to go into all of the other things that typically accompany that. Like, you can still have, like, just hypothetically, that doesn't immediately throw out, geocentrism. It doesn't immediately throw out all, like, space footage being faked. It doesn't throw out so many other different conceptions that, like, this one thing... I will
agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I will agree with you on that.
And then the question would then become, like... all of the other like proofs and all of the other things that seem pretty like lockstep. The question is like, okay, all right, so this is the model. So then how are these specific proofs actually squared up with that? I think just an interesting one is just the whole Battle of the Beams thing that Alan from Space Audits did a presentation on. He did like multiple revision to his presentation. And,
very good wizardry.
Yeah. So, I mean, things like that, it's silly because Alan, I don't think, paid attention to things that people said a couple of years ago about it, right? Maybe it's hard to be aware of things that have been addressed already, but it's already been addressed, and he just like blithely went by without even giving it any thought.
No, he did specifically address the claims that the other guy that's going with the experiment did some like debunking video on his presentation.
Dave McKeegan?
And yeah. And it was essentially like there were a couple like numbers that he got wrong. And then there was also another just like claim of like, this is why this happens. And he, at least with specificity, had a rebuttal. And then so I'd be interested in seeing the rebuttal to the rebuttal. Because I mean, ultimately, I'm just here for like good level argumentation.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that there's a paper from 1941 by Eckersley that would be the thing to look at. I'll drop that. I mean, that's not the topic for today, so I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. But yeah. So quickly, more going on is like, so I'm a flat earther, right? And then I think that like this entire thing is going to be, this entire deception that has been happening for so long is finally going to be broken by this one random trip in like December of this year. Like, why would that be happening? And so like with what I brought of like the corporate awakening of like sugar and stuff, like recently RFK comes in and talks about, like certain medical procedures being bad, like girls going through puberty too early, like so many various health topics that were so underground and so heavily conspiratorial to the point of like nobody would ever really be addressing these points at all. And so a lot of these points, especially on like health, and that's like my main area of expertise is health.
Okay, but you can kind of see though how that doesn't like necessarily relate to
independent
like, models, right?
Yeah, no, but it's the logic train for why this would be entirely blown up.
And that's a logical explanation, but there's also a lot of logical fallacies in thinking that, because you're taking, apples and comparing them to airplanes. You know what I mean? Like it's
that's why a big thing to understand is that there are like hundreds, if not thousands, of like pieces to sort of go into this idea and understanding that I have. And so like I will never be able to go over all of them in any sort of succinct amount of time. So it's more of understanding that like the arguments that I'm giving aren't the only arguments that I have.
But the situation isn't thousands of examples. It's really simple, right? The flat Earth model predicts, right, that there will not be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And if we go there and there is, then that falsifies the model. There's not thousands of moving parts.
No, that's incorrect.
It's incorrect?
Yeah, it's incorrect because flat earthers like, what's it? We'll just make up some new bullshit to explain it.
Yeah,
okay. All right. So who said it? Who said it was incorrect? Good. Gakushi? Is that who's talking?
Yes.
Okay.
Gakushi.
And who's Gakushi? I'm sorry, I don't know you.
He's a lovable guy full of wonderment.
Okay, here's the thing, okay?
Well,
this is where you're wrong. First of all, if there is a 24-hour sun...
Gakushi.
If there is a 24-hour sun, it doesn't mean that it's a globe.
Introduce yourself. Dude, I'm on YouTube.
What would you like to say about me?
I'm on YouTube.
Okay.
A bunch of people are watching on YouTube, and they don't know who you are. Are you a flat earther?
I am not. I'm in the middle. I'm a truth seeker.
Okay. We all know what that means, but okay.
Yeah, so I'm not a flat earther, to answer your question. But the point is, if there is a 24-hour sun, it doesn't mean that the Earth is flat.
He's a flat earther.
It still works on the concave Earth model. It works on the globe model. And now some of the flat earthers are saying it works on their alternative model, which is not the AE map.
What is the AE map, or what is the non-AE map that works?
It's another model they need to look into.
But I mean, is this just a nebulous? There is some other model, hopefully, maybe we don't know, or there is one, and they're like, this is the one.
Yeah, that's a good question. The problem with that question is too open-ended because you generally, the globers have one viewpoint, whereas the flat Earth depends on who it is. They have different viewpoints. Like Whitsitt will be different than Nathan Oakley. That would be different than Dave Weiss, right? So they all have their own views.
And that's a problem. That's not how.
Well,
that's not how
you because you're on the flat Earth side, right?
No, I'm not.
Well, whoever it is.
I'm going to Antarctica. Hopefully, I'm fundraising to so anybody wants to help, there's a GoFundMe, and I'm gonna film the 24-hour sun being up, and at local solar midnight the sun will be 13 degrees above the horizon, or 13 degrees in elevation.
Okay, so how is this going to be live streamed again?
We don't know if we're going to be able to live stream it for sure. We hoped to be able to live stream some of it. Certainly, we're going to try to have when the sun is due south. But we're talking about how to record the entire thing and bring it back and then provide the raw footage to people.
Yeah, but some people are saying that if it's not live streamed, it's not
nobody.
It's not legit.
Yeah, those people are not actual truth seekers. They're truth deniers. If they're like it has to be live streamed, that's not actually a requirement for any rational person, right?
But also, like, as we know with SpaceX, live streams can be edited, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Live streams can be edited?
Yeah, SpaceX, like, literally edited the footage in a live stream at one point.
Yeah,
and it still just showed up as a live stream.
The first Dragon or a Falcon Heavy launch, one of the boosters, they had both boosters showing, and then but one of them, for I don't know if it was all or part of it, they had both views of the boosters was the same booster. It was two of the same instead of the two of them. So it doesn't in any way invalidate what actually happened, right? The boosters were there. There's video of it. People saw it with their own eyes happening. There were thousands of people that witnessed it.
Well, the claim is that the live feed was altered, and it's still called a live feed, yet we all, even you, surprisingly, are admitting it was altered.
Yeah, they altered the second video, the one that was supposed to be the other booster. They overlaid, and it wasn't well overlaid. But there were other people that live streamed, like rebroadcast it, and so you can get copies of those, and you can look at the original and see, oh yeah, that was a dupe. So that didn't change anything, though. The event still happened. There's no question about that.
His point is they can change history. That's the point.
Hold on, let's try to keep it one at a time, Dan. I think MC June, I think you had something to say, and then I think Yasuke had something to say as well.
Anyway, how about the raw footage? How about we make that available and you can go look at it yourself? Is that fine?
Are you a Glober? Like, can you tell us who you are?
I'm MC Toon. I have a modest channel, MC Toon Live on YouTube, and also Conspiracy Tunes on YouTube.
He's a Glober.
Yakushi, did you you didn't really, I don't think, fully grok what I had to say. The point is that there is a model, the AE model, the one most put forward by the majority of flat earthers. On that model, the prediction is that you would not see a 24-hour sun, right? So if we go there and we see a 24-hour sun, then that particular model is falsified. It doesn't falsify the four suns model. You know, Geo has come up with a model with four suns, right? It won't falsify that one, but it will falsify the AE map.
Yeah, and what's the problem with that? That's what I said.
You're conflating the difference between a map and a model, everyone.
Yeah.
Why do that?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm not.
I've already said that even the flat earthers, they say that it's not going to work on the AE map. Now, that being said, some of them have said that it doesn't mean it's not flat. It doesn't mean it's not globe, right?
It falsifies the prominent flat Earth model.
Okay, but how does it prove it's a globe if there's a 24-hour sun?
Oh, so I'll go over how evidence works, right? So the most powerful thing that science can do is it can falsify. Secondarily, it can find confirming evidence for things, but never is anything proven. Science can't prove. Proof is things is something you can do in logic or math or baking. You can prove things in baking, and you can prove things. There's such thing as proof in alcohol purity, but in science, there's no such thing as actual proof. The door is always open for something to be improved upon or understood better. So you make a prediction. You have your hypothesis. You make a prediction. And then if it's falsified, well, then it's falsified. And that's a powerful thing that science can do. But if it's not falsified, then it's confirming. So you say, well, the sun, we predict that the sun will be at this elevation on this day and this elevation on this day. And at this time, it'll be at this spot. And at this time, it'll be at this spot. And if all of those things are correct, then all of those things confirm the model, but it's not proof. There's no such thing as proof.
And flat earthers used to say that it would disprove the AE model, but now, and they only said that because they thought that no one was allowed to go. But now that people are going, it's now, oh, for the love of God, don't go. It won't prove anything.
A lot of them are saying that. The ones that, so a bunch of them have staked their claim in the past about Antarctica, and now they're they're figuring out, what do I do? Do I say, oh, I was wrong. I was kidding. I don't think it actually doesn't set right. Maybe it does do circles. Whatever. It doesn't, right? Or some have stuck to it. Like Effie Banjo has absolutely stuck to it does set. There is no 24-hour sun. So what's he going to do when it happens? He's going to have to deny because he's staked his claim so hard on that. Or others are like, oh, it doesn't prove anything because it's stuff in the sky doesn't prove anything, right? But that's false too, because explain to me, right? You ask a flat earther, how do seasons work? And they're like, oh, well, seasons work like this. The sun does circles around the Tropic of Cancer in the summer in the north, and then it magically with no reason moves over the equator on the equinox, and then magically with no reason it continues to move out to the Tropic of Capricorn, and then it's farther away, and so it's cold, and somehow it's then warmer in the south, right? That all ascribes an actual location to the sun and a physicalness to the sun, and the sun produces light and heat and all that. But then these people, when you're like, well, what do you mean there's going to be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica? And so when we look due south, we'll see the sun, when at the very same time, you say the sun is due north, just much farther away. How does that work? Oh, things in the sky don't prove the ground. Well, hold on a second. Explain to me again how seasons work. What is it? Which one is it? Are you going to provide an explanation for seasons, or are you going to run away from that?
What do you think, Dan? What would it mean to you, Dan, if that sunset?
I don't know. I keep seeing the analemma, in my eyes, in that unbalanced, figure 8. And he was saying that the sun magically moves, but the analemma shows that the sun magically moves already. So I'm not really.
Dan, provide the math, the geometry for the analemma for flat Earth that predicts its position and all that, right? There's no flat Earth anything that predicts the position of the sun, right? You know that. But
the sun does move from position to position. You made it sound like only flat earthers claim that.
Provide the geometry for where the sun is and why the analemma is in any particular place for flat Earth. There is none. I know that. So right, I'm, and you know that too, and I think you know that for the globe, the analemma is perfectly explained. The Earth's orbit around the sun is not a perfect circle; it's an ellipse, and so because it's elliptical, it causes that analemma to be larger. The loop on the north or south, right, is larger than the other side. That's because of the elliptical orbit. It's well understood, and the distances from the Earth to the sun have been measured in many different ways. So it's another example of the globe makes a prediction and it matches, and flat Earth has no prediction, and they're like, oh, well, it sort of looks like this loopy thing, and therefore it's good, but no actual prediction, no math, no geometry, no model computations of the consequences or anything.
Dan, what if that sunset? So that'll confirm your thing, right? What if it doesn't set? Does that do anything for you, Dan? Just out of curiosity, does that shift?
Will it restore integrity to flat Earth? Is the question I am hearing.
What?
No. I'm asking you, like, if that thing goes 13 degrees, right? Like, if it is predicted on the globe model and it doesn't set, what does that do for your opinion on the planar, surface of the Earth?
I still have all the open questions I did, but it finally. Well, I mean, we'd like to see if there's. It's simple. You leave South America. Is it a big circle or not? Is it a small circle around Antarctica or a big circle around the Earth? Nobody's tried to do that. So it's still necessary. The 8-inch drop is still necessary because
8-inch drop is Dan. The 8-inch drop, 8 inches per mile square. That it's been measured, right? You just don't.
Been demonstrated.
You just don't like it. Yeah, you just don't like it. But Dan, it's been demonstrated.
It hasn't been demonstrated, or you'd be providing me a link for that.
Oh, absolutely. Gladly do that.
He wants a photograph, or he wants a video.
All right.
We need to see the progressive nature of the ball, yeah. So it's still going to be a requirement for you guys to show it on Earth.
All right. Here you go, Dan.
How, Dan?
There's the link. There's the link.
Because
it's got a video.
Because different elevations and distances are going to produce angles where obstruction is manipulated by your distances and your angles.
Dan, I posted it. It's a measurement of the 8 inches per mile squared drop. There it is. So take not right now, but look at your own leisure. That's what you asked for. That's what I provided. Okay.
This is a little book with numbers in it. This is a little book with numbers in it, right?
It's called data, Dan.
Take your time, Dan. Don't do it right now.
That's not what it is.
Come back later after you've looked at it. Okay. Dan, I don't want to.
There's no examples here. There's no demonstrations here. Sorry. Done. Done. Right?
Couldn't have
you showed me 2 stills. It doesn't qualify. Next.
You could not have possibly looked at the.
It doesn't qualify as a demonstration. It doesn't.
Well, then
don't pretend it does.
Define what qualifies as a demonstration.
It's observable, measurable, and repeatable.
Okay, so
it's called
would a video that you did not just describe the scientific method. You just listed a couple of requirements that you have. Does a video count? Will you accept a video? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, a demonstration of the deviation from a tangent line that the Earth is supposedly made as a ball.
Okay,
a ball
got
shape.
it. That's exactly what is in that the thing I gave you there. Exactly that.
Okay, well, guess what? I'm a flat earther, and they're never going to accept that because it's just book smart. It's
Dan,
not a demonstration.
You have to understand.
It's not a demonstration. This is not a good argument.
But
it's not
a demonstration, and everybody watching along on the outside knows that it's a demonstration. And here's the thing: I shine a spotlight on denialism.
Listen,
this is denialism.
You haven't watched my best evidence. You know you haven't watched it, so don't.
Okay, I'm talking about my evidence, Dan.
Dan, we're live streaming to YouTube. Please calm. Like, there's no reason to get upset.
So
I'm not going to be challenged on this cherry picking what you guys feel like, saying. Forget it. Unless you're willing to fucking look at what demonstration is and accept that it fucking didn't happen.
So Dan,
you're not seeing the Earth.
I'm playing the video. I'm playing the video right now on my YouTube channel that you denied existing. Even I gave you the link. You didn't look at it.
I'm not enjoying this.
I know.
You haven't reviewed my shit. You haven't reviewed Nat Geo. You don't care.
You're correct. I don't care about Nat Geo.
This is a demonstration.
I don't claim that. I don't claim Nat Geo.
Demonstration that you aren't looking at.
But Dan, is it video?
How about we look at his evidence? How about that?
In 6 years, you've chosen to not look at it.
Okay, how about you post it and then let's look at it?
No, it's not important. They're not going to, they don't, I mean, he wants to argue the semantics is some little numbers in a fucking booklet is a demonstration of the fucking curvature of the Earth.
The people on the YouTube channel are right now watching the actual demonstration that you asked for but did not look at.
Well, I only opened the link you told me to go look at.
I said, take your time, don't do it right now. And you did right now reject it right now. So Dan, we get along fine. You're getting hot.
You didn't send me a video, dude.
It's in the link.
You didn't send me a video.
It's literally in the link.
Dan, you gotta take it down a notch, please.
So Dan, all right, let me just take your time. Don't do it right now. There's a video linked on that page.
Don't tell me what to do and don't tell me what not to do. You guys are bringing me in here where I was fine where I was, and now you're poking at me, and you're asking me to make reference to shit that I've never seen before. But take your time. Take your time. Bonneville Salt Flats. You think I don't have my own Bonneville Salt Flats shit to show you? Fuck off. Fuck off.
All right, Dan. We're not doing that, Dan. I ask that you remain civil on the stream. If that's a problem, I'm just going to drop you from the stream right now. I know I invited you over here, but please just keep it above the board, please. Mike, do you want to continue with Dan, or did you want to keep talking with someone?
No, let's move on, and I'll talk to Dan later. We get along. I like Dan. We're good.
Yep.
All right. So anyway, we got is it Yasuka, and then did I say that right? And then what?
Kakushi, and then we also have is Anchovy on the call? Anchovy, I'm putting you on the spot, but I don't know if you have any interest in speaking as well. I know you tend to classify yourself as in the middle as well. Are you available to talk, Anchovy?
No, I've upset enough people today.
All right, fair enough.
So, Gakushi, a question for you. Now, you said you're on the fence.
Before you move on to me, I think we gotta let Dan get a statement out, right?
Well, Dan is having problems doing that in a civil way, so we're gonna move on for now, and then we'll come back.
So, yeah, I mean, Dan and I get along, Gasuki. Like, we have, I don't know. I don't want push Dan to where he was headed. I like Dan too much to do that. So.
Well, I don't think it's just you. It's just he's done experiments, and then you guys just dismiss his work, especially this guy NASA Shield does.
Yeah, and then I come here not as a participant. I came here to listen, and then you're all fucking making me fucking talk. I'm trying to play Scrabble, trying to do something intelligent, but you guys are fucking in your own fucking world.
All right, well, that's Dan. Maybe just chill out for a bit, and then we can rejoin the conversation.
Yeah. I
want to know why NASA Shield and Schubel are not the ones going down to the Antarctica. They're like your best representatives, right?
Yeah, not enough YouTube people.
Anybody can go, but it's about having enough money to go. So if they can put together the money, they can go.
There's a lot of money in my bank, but it's all in other people's accounts.
That sounds super irresponsible.
I don't think that's... My bank also has a lot of money, but they don't just put it into my account either. I don't know why. So for reference, the amount that you pay to ALE is just under 32,000 because you have to bring your own cold weather gear or rent your own. And if you don't have it, then there's no point in buying it because it's really expensive, the really cold weather gear. And there's no reason to own it if you're not going to use it. So you rent it from them and it costs about $400 to rent that. It would be a lot more to buy. So it's just under $32,000. But you still need to fly there. You still
$400 for a full cold weather kit? That's not bad.
It was just a rental. So
well, like you say, it'd be a lot more to buy it. Yeah,
it's the outer shell, like the boots, I think it's boots, gloves, pants, coat. But then so on top of the 31,500, but then you still need to fly to the southern tip of South America, which the flights I was looking at the other day, round trip, 1,200 to 1,700 is the range. And then you need to stay in the hotel 2 or 3 days before, 2 or 3 days after. And so you got room and board there. And then if you're going to bring extra gear to Antarctica, you get one check bag in the plane, and then you have it's at $35 per pound extra. So it's a premium to get the extra stuff down there. So somewhere between 35 and 40,000 total. So for me, I'm the fundraising is right around 10,000 right now for me. And so I haven't done anything. It's all just sitting there still. Nobody on GoFundMe has been charged. People have sent me money on PayPal and Cash App, and it's all just sitting there untouched right now. So I won't do anything until I get to the point where I think that it will definitely happen. And for me, that's right around 20,000. So I need to double what I've got before I'll send a payment and start purchasing big stuff. So.
Okay, so you're going to go down there, you're going to see this 24-hour sun, and that's it, and then you're coming back? That's all you guys are doing?
Well, no, that's part of the question that I'm asking people. I was on the Earth Awakenings Discord server last week, and I asked the flat earthers there, I said, well, what experiments, what tests, what things would you like to see from us? I mean, we didn't get a lot.
You can't fulfill what they're asking for.
Well, within the parameters of this trip, right? So they envision.
Question is what's beyond the ice wall. You're never going to be able to find that.
Well, they envision a whole bunch of other things, and they are welcome to put together their own trips, but so far they haven't.
Well, it's not about them going. It's too dangerous to go beyond the ice walls, right?
There is no ice wall. That's the thing. But if they want to see,
how do you know that? You haven't been down there.
There have been hundreds of people that have done cross Antarctica trips. They start on one side, they go to the South Geographic Pole, and then they continued to the other side. Some have gone right on the 0 longitude line and the 180 longitude line. In the late 70s and early 80s, there was a group of people that did that across land. They started on the 180. Yeah, 180. Was it? No, they started on 0, I think, 0 longitude, and then just went all the way to the South Pole. And then they continued on the 180 longitude up toward, and then eventually they got to the water and then went up to New Zealand. So lots of people have done it. You can look up the number of people that have done cross Antarctica trips, and the crisscrossing that they've done is all over the place. So there is no ice wall. Hundreds of people have gone across in different ways, probably thousands. And versus people saying, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh doesn't beat actual people going there. Right? It's just a cop-out.
Yeah, but who's gone beyond the ice wall, though?
There's no ice wall. The fact that people went from one side to the other proves there is no ice wall, or falsifies the idea of an ice wall.
Nuh-uh.
That's it, yeah. Or there is an ice wall. Okay. Well, why was it that so many people have crossed
if you keep
it?
going south, are you going to end up in the North Pole?
In the North Pole?
Yes.
Well, it's rather far, but yes, if you were able to just magically hover or something, just follow a line of longitude, then yes. But it's, there's a bit more logistics to that, because if you're not on land, you have to do it over sea. And if you're on sea, then how do you do it? You could fly, and you could take a boat. And either way, you need to refuel. So it's difficult to just go straight.
I have a question for Yakushi. I have a question for Yakushi. Yakushi, if people go down there and they will either see the sun set or not set, and I understand that you are on the fence. You're neither here nor there. Would you then, would it then confirm for you either the Earth is flat or it is a globe?
If there is a 24-hour sun, or if there isn't, which one?
Either way.
Well, no, either way is a big it. Either way, because as I said to you before, if there is a 24-hour sun, it works on many different models. If there is no 24-hour sun, it just doesn't work on the flat Earth.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, I said that backwards. If there is a 24-hour sun, it doesn't work on the current flat Earth model. If there isn't a 24-hour sun, then it only works on the flat Earth model.
Right, so would you no longer be on the fence?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be leaning more towards the globe unless they have other evidence, that's for sure. It'll prove a lot. The problem is you have the concave earthers who works in their model too, though, if there's a 24-hour sun.
They don't have a plausible mechanism for light, so it's silly. So
they do. Bring all glory in here, he'll tell you.
I put in the chat there a picture of the trip that went. It's called the Transglobe expedition from 1979 to 1980 or 81, and that was the path they took across Antarctica. And then when they got to the water on the top part of that map, because everything's north in reference to the South Pole, then they took I think it was a flight or a boat, I'm not sure, to New Zealand. There you can see, and then they hooked over to Sydney, Australia there for a bit. And I'll link the some details of that trip that they took. There you go. So the fact that they did that, I mean, that says, well, that falsifies the idea of an ice wall, like a barrier of some sort. So that particular trip that they would have had to take, if the Earth were a disk, like is the common flat Earth claim, then the number of miles of that particular trip to take that would be 60,000 miles probably, and there wasn't nearly enough time for them to go 60,000 miles.
Okay, so who's going from the flat Earth side?
Austin Whitsitt, Jaron Campanella, and Lisbeth. I don't want to say her last name wrong. Starts with an A.
Who is that?
She's on the Clubhouse social media platform in the Flat Earth Gang. They call themselves. You know, they walk around with giant clocks, except they're not clocks. They're just big pendants that are flat Earth. They got, you know, gold chains, gold teeth. You know, they have wrenches that they beat people with if they're not flat Earth. I'm kidding. That's not what they do. Anyway, it's another social media platform, kind of similar to Discord, not quite as big, but it's mostly talking and typing. That's about it.
Yeah, she's just a random flat earther.
Are you the photographer that's going, or are you somebody else?
That's Dave McKeegan is the guy that's a professional photographer.
Okay, so that's not you.
Nope. I write
but you're going somehow, right?
Yeah, I write email filtering software. That's what I do. But yeah, I'm raising money.
Okay, so who do you represent? The globe earthers or what?
Yeah, the Earth is a globe.
Okay, but I thought the idea was to have the flat earthers go down there. So why is there so many globe reps going down?
Because they cowered the flat earthers all chickened out.
No, he's saying there's 3 of them going.
Yeah, 3 out of the 9 or 12 have been offered.
So there's 3 going, and on the globe side, there's maybe more than 3.
Yeah, so why is it not 3 and 3?
Because the other flat earther chickening out.
Also, why is there no reps from the concave model?
I will explain all of these. Thank you. So, why? Well, because Nathan Oakley was offered a trip and turned it down. David Weiss was offered a trip, turned it down. Dean Odell was offered a trip, turned it down. All expense paid.
What's the reasoning?
All expense paid. Hold on. Volker Meyer was offered a trip, turned it down. Mark Sargent was offered a trip, turned it down. Eric Dubé was offered a trip, hasn't yet responded. I'm guessing he's going to turn it down. And Alex Stein has been offered a trip. So a bunch have been offered an all expense paid trip and turned it down. So why isn't it?
Oakley turned it down? Why?
No, wait, hold on. They offered Alex Stein.
Tim Poole
from Blaze.
Tim Poole offered to pay for Alex Stein to go.
No shit, I didn't know that. Yeah. Holy shit!
So I don't know if he's gonna go. He's whatever. So anyway, there's 3 flat earthers definitely going, and then for globers or normal people, there's Will, who's behind the whole trip, putting it all together. Dave McKeegan is the one that's getting paid for by Will. A guy named Leonard William, who has enough money that he's just paying for himself to go because he likes to do that kind of stuff. Critical Think from Australia. My understanding is that he's very much committed to going. I think I'm pretty sure he's 100% at this point. Myself. So anyway, that's 4 globers. Leonard, I don't know if there's a certainty on him going or not. And then myself, and then Globey McGlobeface is also fundraising, but it's kind of stalled. I don't know if he's actually going to make it. So why are there no concavers? I don't know. They're invited. Hey, concavers, put together a crowd fund. Get yourself down there. You're invited.
No, okay, hold on a sec. But here's the thing. The point of this was to have a representative to go down there from each side, right?
Well, concave doesn't have a side. There's like 4 concavers. That's it.
What?
Yeah, there's not many of them, bro.
Okay, maybe 5.
It all started, maybe 5, which I've seen the model. I mean, it was kind of impressive.
Well, that's not what their hypothesis is. Their hypothesis is that you guys didn't want to go down there because if there is a 24-hour sun, it still works on their model. You don't want to do that.
So they have no disagreement with it. Okay, fine.
One correction, Mike, is there are 5 living concavers.
Oh my gosh. Too soon, Brenda. Too soon with Zenith Atlas.
Yeah, regardless, there'll be plenty of video and documentation for the concaver to take it to heart, rip it apart, and come up with some explanation.
Yeah, but the video is not live streamed though. That's the thing.
So what? Nothing requires scientific data to be given to you live stream.
That's not a thing. That's not a requirement. What that is that's an obvious escape mechanism for people that are trying to avoid addressing evidence. That's what it is.
Okay, but this video is going to be taken by who?
Well, I'm bringing my P1000. Will is talking about bringing 2 or maybe 3 360-degree VR cameras. And I don't know what the flat earthers are planning to bring. That's kind of
drones too, I think, right?
Will has a drone.
Bringing drones.
Yeah. And the question is, do you see the sun due south? So if the sun is due south, even for 1 second, it doesn't work. There's no way. Flat Earth is done. There's no explanation for it. How is the sun there?
It doesn't have to be due south. As soon as it heads south, it's over with.
I agree with you there, Dan. It's a good point.
I'm sure Witsit will make up some new bullshit.
So,
I mean, they'll be able to see it. That's a good thing that they're going down there. I think the hardest thing it's going to be is to actually get a 24-hour shot. I don't know if the batteries will be able to keep up with that temperature, but because then you're going to run into the issues like, this was edited and all that other stuff. But
yeah, so some of the things that
if we can.
Yeah, some of the things we've been discussing is you bring hand warmers, and then you swap out the hand warmers to keep the batteries warm. And
Right.
I'm going to bring a couple. I have 2 of these 30,000 milliamp hour bricks. And so then put into my camera bag, I'll have the brick and I'll have the hand warmers in there. So it'll keep it warm. And then I'll have a cable going to the camera. And then I'll have also, I'm looking at maybe getting a good size solar panel that can charge the battery. So the battery will be charged while the battery is also powering the camera. So that should be able to go indefinitely. I need to verify that, but if it can,
you gotta,
the sun never sets there, so it'll be powered 24 hours a day.
Are you gonna run like a test of all your equipment?
Yeah.
Before you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
PCIs, PCCs. Well, one thing that you can think about.
And let's not forget, video aside, we'll have the eyewitness accounts from Jaron and Witsit. Now, if the sun doesn't set, and they say it does, and they'll know there's video contradicting them, and if you question the video, then you got to call Jaron and Witsit a unified lying crew.
Okay, just for the record, a 24-hour sun, it means a 24-hour sun, right? It doesn't mean just daylight, correct?
So
correct. Absolutely. And I'm not worried about that shoe build. Just real quick because I know a lot of people are jumping in real quick. One thing we used to do when we trained in the Arctic in the Army, consider bringing coolers, because I heard you're bringing hand warmers. Like, coolers work absolutely very well to keep heat. So just an idea.
But coolers work very well for what? Oh, to store heat.
Yeah, to store heat so you can keep your batteries so that they don't so they don't succumb to the elements. So think about it like in the reverse. So yeah, when we train in the Arctic and up in Alaska, we use very creative ways to get after like keeping things warm, and coolers actually work that way. So an idea.
Okay, so you're admitting that it's going to be a 24-hour sun, right?
Of course it will.
So no daylight.
Daylight is defined.
Daylight. Correct. Not just daylight. The sun never dipping below the 13 degrees of elevation when it's due south, and exceeding 30 degrees of elevation when it's due north.
That's the definition of daylight. The sun is above the horizon.
So, in American hours.
So when you get when you get like overcast conditions, like a full cloud deck, and you lose sight of the sun, do you think they're going to go down that road of, we can't tell now?
Well, he's already saying it. He just said it.
Yeah,
He just said
a lot of the flat earthers have already said that
he just said over the horizon. He's already putting a precedence that if you don't see the sun, as long as it's over the horizon, it counts.
No, I'm saying obscured by cloud cover, buddy.
No, not you. I'm telling you. This is what NASA Shield just said.
Whether or not it's persistent cloud cover for the multiple days. That would be a bad thing if it was a cloud deck for the entire 3-4 days. True.
Yep. You lose visibility of the sun with complete overcast conditions. So it would suck to think that the flat earthers will jump to that and go, well, we can't see it, even though it's like daylight.
It would suck, Rick, but the issue is that...
As Duffy brought up, he showed their video confirmation of the 24-hour sun in the Arctic Circle, and it was heavily laden with clouds, and they were perfectly happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a time lapse. It was really quick. It was jumping all around. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's all good. We're good. That's perfectly. That's a super good video." And then we have a 5-day time lapse with very little cloud cover, coming in and out occasionally. At the actual geographic South Pole, they're like, "Nah, not good enough."
As soon as it hides behind a cloud, oh my god, I've lost sight.
Yeah, it's set. It's set while it went behind the cloud there, didn't it? No, it did not set when it went behind the cloud. You can see it through the clouds. But yeah, it's the dual standard of evidence. Hold on, it's the dual standard of evidence, which is an incredibly dishonest, anti-truth position.
Oh yeah.
Truthers don't have dual standards of evidence. But the people that call themselves the people that call themselves truthers tend to be the ones that don't like truth. I'll get you a video just a second. 5-day time lapse.
I want to see a video of the original 24-hour sun in the south. The one that flat earthers deny.
Yakushi, I have a question for you. Does the sun cause daylight?
I don't know, actually.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
You have to think about that one.
Yeah.
We don't need to poke fun. Okay.
I'm not poking fun.
I mean,
no. I'm not. I'm feeling out his beliefs are, and many flat earthers believe that the sun is not the cause of daylight.
Yeah.
Well, how do you explain a cloudy day with no sun?
David Weiss. David Weiss is one of them.
You still have daylight.
Gakushi brings up a really good point about a 24-hour sun in the south. And Gio and I fucking spent 4 days looking at this shit, right? There are ones, right? But it's not as clear as it is in the north. You know what I mean? So I'm playing devil's advocate right here, guys. Okay, just straight up devil's advocate, 100%. It is kind of fishy.
What's fishy?
That there isn't the solid 24-hour sun, that you see in the north. There's not a clear one down in the south.
I just posted one. I just posted one. I'll post it again.
Let me see this. Hold on.
There you go.
We spent 4 days looking at this shit.
5-day time lapse. Robert Schwartz. It's on Vimeo.
Also, if I may.
No. Okay, McTune, I should have. Okay, yeah, Schwartz. Yeah, beside
the video.
Sorry.
No, there's no such thing as beside them. Yeah, I'm not going to go with the dual standard of evidence.
This is fast forwarded.
I know. I should have prefaced it with it because yes. That is one that yes, I know.
This is fast forward. You can't use this.
Well, you want to watch it in live time?
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
let's just a second.
24-hour video.
Just a second.
You don't have that attention span.
Nash the shield. Hold on. All right. Where is
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Stop. I'm talking to Gakushi here with his standard of evidence. The 24-hour sun videos in the north are not just real-time videos either. There is exactly 0 real-time video of the 24-hour sun in the north. But the flat earthers say, oh, they're fine. A time lapse is fine. I totally accept a time lapse. Also, it's okay if the time lapse has the sun behind clouds for a lot of it, and it's totally okay if the camera jumps around for some of it. They're fine with that. So I want to point out the same standard of evidence has to be applied to both. So a time lapse in the north, yes. Time lapse in the south, yes. They both count. Or neither count. Be consistent. Insist that the flat earthers are consistent.
Okay, if you go with the idea that neither counts, the problem is, well, the good thing is there's no difference on the North Pole because it works on all the models. So there's no point of challenging it if everyone accepts that it works on all the models.
And no, we're talking about we're talking about the standard of evidence. Do you accept that there is a video of the sun in the north doing circles? Yes or no?
I have to see the video.
It's a time lapse, though. Will you accept it or will you reject it?
Middle? How do you know south's not in the middle?
Well, all I'm saying is there's got to be okay, I'm fine with this video, but is there a 24-hour version of it?
That's a 5-day time lapse. And why? And so now tell me, why would a real-time video be better than this? What makes a real-time video of it better?
Well, it's not fast forwarded.
I didn't ask you to describe the video. I asked why a real-time video of it would be better.
Because it wouldn't be edited.
Do you not know that video is just a sequence of photographs? Do you know that, right? That's what video is.
They're not in real time. So don't pretend it's the same thing.
And so I'm asking,
well, then you don't have anything for the north. I live in the south. Where's your proof for the north of 24-hour sun in the north?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's try to keep it to a 1v1 right now. Let's just keep it.
So you can, if you want, you could play that video in real time and just have it not update the frames once every 30th of a second, and instead have it update the frame whatever is the appropriate amount, so that it takes 24 full hours for the sun to go from one point to the next. Does that change anything if you view it at that rate? Well, no, it doesn't, but the frame rate now is a lot different. Does that actually change anything? It actually doesn't, because the only thing that really matters is, was the sun ever in a place where it doesn't work for flat Earth? Yes or no? And the answer is yes. It was in a place that doesn't work for flat Earth. A single photograph of the sun in the wrong place for flat Earth is all you actually need if you're consistent with your standard of evidence. Right? Does that make sense?
I agree with McToon. I think it's just as easy to post both versions, though, for people who need it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you're going to edit that video to fast forward like the way it shows, then you should have the original somewhere, right?
Why is that your standard of evidence? How is that going to make?
It's not a standard of evidence. It's where the question is why is
absolutely
the full
are
version
making
not
it.
available?
You absolutely are making that your standard of evidence, that you need to have the original. The original is actually just photographs. It's a camera that was on a timer that took photographs every whatever number of seconds or minutes. And so if you actually play that video one frame at a time, that is the original. That's what that is. That's the original. It's just that there isn't, let's say it was 5 minutes between photographs. Instead, there's 1/30th of a second between photographs. That's fine. Grab that, download the video, bring it into your video editor, and then forward, you can reset the time frame of it so that it plays one frame per 5 minutes instead of one frame per 30th of a second. That's it then. It is then real time. What's different?
Could I just ask a quick one?
Hold on. I asked him a question and you're jumping in. Stop it.
Sorry. Okay, it's just I've been trying.
Well, the question is,
Dan, I asked a question to Kikuchi, not to you.
No, why are you censoring other people from answering?
I asked you a question, Kikuchi. Yes, it is, Kikuchi.
No, it's not. I'm not debating you.
Yes, it is, Kikuchi. That's what this is.
No, it's not. How are you going to tell me what it is?
Sea Lion, what is this?
Yeah, let's try to keep it to a 1v1, guys. He had asked you a question, so let's try not to jump in here. let's just keep it to a 1v1. And Kikuchi, please answer his questions, and other people don't jump in, please. Sorry about that, Mike.
Thanks.
He has a question? Like, I thought he just made a statement.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you just ranted for 10 minutes about video evidence, how it's photos. Okay, you're playing word games, dude. The point is, no one's disputing that this isn't evidence because it's fast forwarded. All I'm saying is you have this version available. For those people who deny this, you should have the full version available also. That's all I'm saying.
It is the full version. I explained how it is the full version.
But it's edited, it's fast forwarded.
No, it's just set to a frame rate that's different than the original. If you want, you can just pull it into your video watching app and pause it, and then wait 5 minutes and then forward by 1 frame. And then wait 5 minutes and then forward by 1 frame. See, all of the original is there. Every single frame of the original is there. You just need to not watch it as fast. Take 24 hours. Examine every single pixel for 5 minutes.
Okay, so we heard your side. Now, can we get a flat earther tell him why this video is not proper?
All right, that'd be great. Did Dan go? Oh, all right.
I don't know that anyone has that hang up about it, to be honest. Even the flat earthers, I don't think they have a problem with the frame rate.
No, they do. The flat earth denies every video from the 24-hour sun in the south because it's not real.
Why would anybody want to watch an entire video that takes 24 hours to watch? That's ridiculous.
It's actually more than 24 hours.
Right. But every single video in the north, that's a time lapse. Oh, it's okay because it's a time lapse in the north, but it's the south that's the problem.
But who's saying that though? You keep saying that. Who's saying it's okay? The videos in the north are okay, but the ones in the south are not.
Yeah, flat earthers say that. Yeah, they're like, we've got millions of videos in the north. They don't. There's actually more videos of the south than in the north. Anyway, it's 120 hours is what that video is, because it's a 5-day time lapse.
MC Toons nailed it anyway. He said that it only takes a photograph at the time that the sun shouldn't be there on the flat earth model to completely shatter that model. Just one photograph at the right time.
So just pause it.
And that's it.
Just pause it.
Yeah,
look at the single photograph. There you go.
I'd like to point out too, I've already heard plenty of flat earthers
okay, Dan is back.
say they're not going to accept video. So I mean, the problem isn't the video, it's your guys' trust issues.
Well, let Dan get in now, because he's going to explain the flat earth side, why the video, when you fast forward it like this, is not evidence.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan, please.
No, I'm not going ahead in this sort of game. It's not, I, of course, have evidence. Of course, it's being ignored. So when McToon wants to actually talk about what flat earthers have done, I am available.
I've seen your evidence, Dave, or Dan. and
Dan is definitely desperate to talk about that deal.
But I'm not being a puppet for his show while you can mute me and pretend I'm here only at your disposal, because I'm not. I'm at my disposal.
Right,
and I have plenty of shit to say, right?
Thank you, Dan. I was just trying to ask your opinion on the topic. Keep to the original topic. Does anyone else want to try to explain why it would be an issue that the video is fast forwarded or that it's a time lapse?
I have a question.
The only thing.
Go ahead, Verdak, and then go ahead, Verdak, and then Boom. I'll let you get in after that. Okay.
Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, McToon, is they hate this video, right?
Oh yeah.
So they ask for more and more evidence, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm playing devil's advocate here, right, from their perspective. And it is kind of fishy that there's not like the plethora of videos that we see in the north that are in the south.
Hold on. There's more videos in the south than in the north.
Plenty of them.
There's a plethora in the south. There's not a plethora in the north. So it's backwards. The claims they make don't have actual evidence behind them. Let me make it, I want to say it again one more time so it's very, very clear. There are more videos of the midnight sun in the south than there are in the north.
For a full 24-hour circle. Hold on real quick. For a full 24-hour circle. Because if there are, start posting them so I can use them.
Like, you're actually the only guy who says this. Like, where's...
I'm actually not the only guy that says this. Maybe you're in the wrong echo chamber.
No, that's a problem, man. Like, I keep telling them, but on the north, and they got all these north videos, but, like, when it comes to the south, you show them, like, nah, he's debunked. It's, essentially for the same reasons you were saying. Oh, that's fast-forwarded. And I'm like, what the fuck about these other videos, man?
Dude, it has nothing to do with the flat earth. You could send me any video, and if it's fast forwarded, I'll say where's the original. It has nothing to do with this stuff you're trying to say.
All right, so that's your standard of evidence. It has to be the time code has to be unmodified, but you will then accept it.
No, I'm not saying I'm not accepting this one. All I'm saying is where's the original video?
You looked at it. Just don't play it as fast.
That's not the original video. That's fast forwarded.
It is. It's you don't seem to understand how video is done. Video is a sequence of photographs, and then you pause between each photograph. Normal video is 24 times per second. You pause between photographs, or 30 times per second.
I think I have a better example here. If I played you a 30 frames per second versus 60 frames per second, which one is the real one?
Neither, of course. If it contradicts,
I'm curious what he would say.
That's still a video, though.
I know, but you're saying
FPS.
You're asking for that's what he's trying to say to you. You're just changing the frames per second. That's all it is.
Just play it slower. That's it. The whole thing is there. The original is there.
Yep.
The original video is there.
Adding is resolution. Yep.
Just wait between frames. Just pause for 5 minutes between each frame.
Can I get my question in, please?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it, Boomer. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys. I've been patient. I've got to say, those that butt in, I mean, we're polite and we just get nothing. I went on and checked out the 24 campsites on Antarctica, and they said we upload a photo every 15 minutes, but sometimes we have whiteouts and there's no point. So in the event you do a 24-hour cycle, the chance of there being a whiteout are very high, which will then provide there you go, it's edited or whatever. So how do we propose to cover that whiteout factor? Because Antarctica is very unpredictable. Thanks, guys.
I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue during this time of year. I think typically the whiteouts would be happening outside of the Southern Hemisphere summer. But I could be wrong about that.
It depends where and when. Yeah, it's very... and Will chose this location and time of year based on historical weather in the area. So typically this particular area is not terribly cold, and it doesn't have these whiteout conditions very often. So that doesn't mean it can't happen. It's just not common.
Okay, thanks. That's it. Yeah, because it does provide them an escape path or an off-ramp, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to just ask though, Gakushi. I mean, I appreciate you like being in this panel and coming out and talking to us. It's just, doesn't that strike you as a bit of a weak argument? Like to me, like I'm trying to be unbiased here, and obviously that's difficult because I'm, staunchly on the globe side. But like saying that it's a time lapse, it's sped up, this and that, like. It's still showing what it's showing, right? Like, what could they have possibly done to make it look like a 24-hour sun was happening, in your view? I just don't get that there's any substance to that argument.
Okay, it's not an argument, though. No one's arguing that the video you're showing me, there's an issue. Like, I haven't even looked at the whole thing. What I'm saying is, where's the original? That's all I'm saying. There's no argument with the video you sent. There's no dispute with it. I just want to see the original also. That's it.
I already answered the question. You have the original. I linked you the original.
The non-fast-forwarded version.
Pause it. Wait 5 minutes. Go to the next frame. That is the original. It just has a different time code.
pause it, wait 5 minutes.
Can I ask?
That's the original.
Yeah, go, jump in, Jesse, please.
Gakushi, are you aware that you can choose the frame rate when you film a video, and that you can choose a slow frame rate, like once a second or once a minute, and that it's still a video, and that doesn't mean that it's edited just because it has a low frame rate?
Okay, but no one's saying. Oh my god, I don't know how
Wait,
to point
how long do we want to talk about real time? Let's just move on, can't we? This is really.
Yeah, we need to move on. You're not getting the point, dude.
It's not
like,
getting
it's
it.
like, it's like watching a volume. It's like watching a video with the volume down versus volume up. It's like, what? Oh no, hang on a minute. The volume up one's real. Well, it's it's just a variable that changes the. It's not actually change. There's no new information coming in. It's the same information. It's just
Yeah, you're not getting the true volume.
Let me ask a question. In the case like at what point, how many people are going to show me a rocket launch from 2018 telling me it's video when it's clearly from a Nikon D50 and from 2051 still frames? Like, so.
Oh my God.
No, I just want to know why I got to hear about video when it's not. That's what is important, because everyone's going to tell me I'm just missing the video. The video's everywhere. But the video of a rocket coming through space isn't there. Right? I have nothing to compare it to except for this 2 Russian missions in 2018.
What? We're just going to allow Dan to come in and change the subject.
We were looking to change the subject because you want to go back to Antarctica? When you're done with Antarctica, measure the Earth.
All right, yeah.
The topic is Antarctica.
Yeah, Dan, that's and then let's not go there, please, Dan. Okay, so I mean, I think it's important, and the reason we've kind of been on the topic of Kushi, and the reason we want to move away from it, is that I think part of what we're trying to establish, and maybe MC2 you could add in this as well, is like we want to kind of get a sense of like why is this needed in the first place, and what kind of evidence coming back from this trip are you, because I don't necessarily know that there's going to be exactly what you want personally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think everyone's. I mean, the biggest thing is you have 2 big flat earthers going down there, right? So if they're going to be in the video and if they admit there's a 24-hour sun, now I know a lot of flat earthers won't accept that, but I mean that's, for me, that would be sufficient somewhat.
All right, I just posted a link to a Facebook post by Anthony Powell. It's a video from December 2007 of a 24-hour sun. Again, it's a time lapse because a 24-hour video is very large and quite boring. People aren't very interested in that. But here's the question then is to you, and would you accept if we brought back not just flat earthers saying yep, but a unedited raw 24-hour footage of the entire area there? Would you accept that then and say, oh yeah, okay, I will watch every single frame for the next 24 hours and make sure that they're all good? Is that good for you?
Is that to me or Dan?
To you, Gakushi. Dan doesn't want to talk about this right now, so that's fine.
Okay, sorry, ask that again.
If we come back with multiple, overlapping 24-hour videos from different cameras in real time, the original video straight off the camera of 24-hour sun, then is that for you? Yep, definitely solid evidence that falsifies flat Earth. Is that what you would accept?
No.
Then what would you accept? And if you
because
can't,
it's not about the video. It's I already told you, if there's a 24-hour sun, it still works on the concave Earth model, and it doesn't really show me how a 24-hour sun proves that it's a globe.
Oh God!
What it shows is it doesn't work on the flat Earth model, but
all right, so
how does it prove that it's a
so
globe?
it falsifies flat Earth. You agree with that?
The current flat Earth, yes.
There's no alternative flat Earth ideas for this. There
Ask
aren't.
Sanchez and Whitsitt, they'll tell you there is.
No, they don't have any. They don't have anything at all because what you need is you need to say, well, here's an application of the laws of physics. Here's the geometry involved. Here's the optics of it, and here's the prediction. Let's go ahead of time and say, here's the prediction. Here's how it all works, right? If you're bold, if you had balls, you do it. I did it. Turns out I have them. 13 degrees elevation is how high it will be, and if it's not a globe. You see, I've got the courage. No flat earthers got that yet. I mean, a couple have said they've had the courage to say it will set. A couple have said that. I appreciate that. I honor. They've said that is the thing, the way, or the prediction, right? They didn't say what time. They didn't say what azimuth, right? They should, but just saying sets. Well, okay, that's a Boolean. We can test that. But
okay, when you go down there, if there is no 24-hour sun, let's just say hypothetically, would you say it's a flat Earth?
Yes. I will delete all of my globe videos. I will upload a video saying the Earth is flat, and that'll be all that's on my channel.
Bah, you could put more effort into flat Earth than that. It's still running away.
Okay, my problem is you still don't disprove the concave Earth if there's a 24-hour sun.
The concave Earth doesn't have any plausible mechanism for any of this, so it already has been falsified.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you say that it's the same thing about the flat Earth, though.
I do.
Yeah, so you falsify anything that's not a globe. So.
Well, yeah, it's already been falsified long ago. Of course.
Yeah, so there's no point of talking about it because you already.
So here's the question.
You're not going there with a 50-50 intention. You're going there to debunk the flat Earth.
Of course, yeah. But if evidence contradicts what I expect it to be, I'll follow the evidence. So to the question to the concavers is,
me too.
Show the application of physics, optics, geometry that and the specific prediction that those things have, right? Those would output a number, right? You'd say, well, the sun is this in this actual location in three-dimensional space, and then these physical events interact with the light in some way and cause the light to do things in certain ways, right? Because the way that light works is well understood, the optics of it is well understood, and so then whatever it is, refraction, reflection, whatever happens, and then it causes the light's path to do whatever it does. Do that. Concavers don't do that. They just have these really vague descriptions of, oh, well, it kind of does this, and there's something in the way here, and then it curves there. Why does it curve? Well, it just does. Magic does it. It's always magic. So I don't accept magic. If there's a plausible mechanism for it, hey, then let's talk about it. But concavers never bring that.
Light always curves. McToon. It always curves. Lenses make light go straight.
What?
I'm just kidding you.
Okay, so since you're going down there, you understand you have to take a video of the other guys you're taking, and they have to admit that there's a 24-hour sun, right?
Well, I hope they're honest. Right?
Well, they have to verbally say it, or else it doesn't work.
Well, no, if they don't verbally say it, then they're obvious liars. If the sun is up for 24, right?
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
If we're standing there,
no one could deny the truth.
If we're standing there, well, of course they can. If we're standing there, and there's the sun due south, right? And we say, hey, Flatties. What is that? It's the sun. And what time is it? It's middle of the night. And is it above the horizon? It's above the horizon. Yeah. I hope that they do that. And I expect that they will. I don't think that they're going to deny that so obviously. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's where you're going together. Like, who's gonna lie in the video to make themselves look bad?
Yeah, I can think of some.
Although interestingly, they did require in the contract that nobody can make any evidence of them actually having been there.
True. Good point.
So the contract that they insisted that be signed requires any video that be done that they get final edit privilege. Now, Will has said he's not planning on making a documentary of any sort, so it kind of doesn't matter. But there's also a part of the contract that we sign with ALE, that's the organization that's putting it together, says that the other members of the trip, whoever it is, because it's not just us, right? It's a tourist thing. Anybody can go there that wants to. The other members, if they don't want you to be filmed, then they can say, I don't want to be filmed. So that's not final edit. That's just, don't film me. I don't want to be on film, which is fine. If any of them are like, don't film me, okay, I'll just blur you out in the video. And when you're talking, we'll just have Charlie Brown adult voice going while you're talking.
Yeah.
But the point is, if Jaron and Whitsitt decided to lie about it, according to the contract,
they're not going to lie about it, dude. Why would they lie about it?
Hold on, don't cut him off, Kikuchi. Let him finish. Jesse, go ahead.
There's nothing that anybody could legally do because there won't be any legal video of them actually being there other than their own. And if they don't release that, then there will be no way for the Globers to prove that Jaron and Whitsitt were even there. And Jaron and Whitsitt could just say they weren't even there, or they were there and saw the sunset and that all the other video was just fake. There would be no video evidence of Whitsitt and Jaron actually witnessing the midnight sun.
I think the bond with each other, man. I think it's going to be a good thing. It'll be a good trip. I wouldn't worry about that.
I'm not too
when
concerned.
they look at each other like eye to eye, yeah, I think it'll be all right.
No, what do you mean? He has a good point. If you're gonna make a video and say there's a 24-hour sun, but if you don't include Whitsitt or the other guy, then the video is no good, right? That's the whole point of you
You're
taking
at
them
the
down
end
there.
of the world, bro. You're together. You're alone. You're in this, this space. Well, not alone, but you're in this space. Like, it's an amazing experience. I think our humanity will. Yeah, I think our humanity will bring us
Here's
together.
the thing, man. The whole point of this is for all of them to go together. So when they see it, both sides could admit what they saw, right? For it to be consistent.
Yes, yep.
If you're gonna go there and just make a video with a bunch of globe earthers, the other side's gonna deny it, and it's the same thing if you do it with just flat earthers, and the other side's gonna deny it.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's going down there to be together to see the truth. Fuck, that's what makes us human.
MC Toon, have you had conversations with Whitsitt or Jaron before? Like, have you had dialogues with them?
I've talked with Jaron a good amount about this.
Okay.
Whitsitt has he's got a chip on his shoulder right now. I've offered an olive branch to him several times to park our differences until after we come back, and that has not yet been reciprocated. But I hope
it's a shame.
I hope it can be before then, but I don't know if it's gonna.
Interesting.
Bendy Light says I'm lying about the contract.
What? Where?
So this is in the YouTube live chat. Bendy says I'm lying about the contract.
I think that's a Glober probably trolling you. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bendy Light is not a flatty, so I don't know where that's coming from. But yeah, I mean, it's just to wrap that topic up. It's a bad look to deny that something that very obviously happened. It's not a winning thing. You don't come back saying, oh, yeah, you did a good job by denying the very obvious thing that was there and then refusing to allow yourself to be on video saying it. Yeah, you don't win doing that. That just makes Flat Earth look even worse.
They're not going to do that, though.
I hope they don't. I hope you're right.
If they wanted to do that, they wouldn't go on the trip anyways.
Most likely.
So where is it? Where's Bendy Light?
Hence Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, Nathan's a pretty rotten person. Is Bendy Light in the Discord or in my chat? I don't know where he is. I don't know the context of Bendy saying that something's not correct.
I'm not sure either.
Okay.
I don't think it's Bendy's space here. He would have posted in the live chat.
Oh, okay. Bendy in my chat says that's not what I said. Stop speaking for me. Okay. I'm not speaking for you, Bendy. Just type what you want and I'll address it if you have something. So there's a few funny things that I've heard. Some flat earthers have claimed that there's going to be a sun simulator without doing any of the actual tiny little bit of work that it would figure out to be how could they possibly do that? Because you can put a solar filter on the camera and then you can see the sunspots. And if you see the same sunspots there due south as other people do on the same day in other parts of the world, then it will be quite obvious that it's the same sun, and a sun simulator is going to have a really hard time doing that. The harder part is if the sun is 13 degrees elevation at the lowest, what would you have to do in order to simulate a sun that has a correct angular size? Right? How big would the fake sun, the sun simulator, have to physically be if it was only a mile away? In the live chat, type the answer. Do that little bit of math. I already did it. I know the answers.
Okay, but they're probably saying there's two suns, right? Not a sun simulator.
Well, that's another. They've said 4 suns, but of course, if there's 4 suns, then each of the 4 suns would have different sunspots, right?
I have money on it finally being 11 suns.
Yeah.
I think we just hit 6 today. It was 5 as of yesterday. I could be wrong, but I think once you start... Sorry, go ahead, Brenda.
The smallest sun simulator is in Germany, and it has 96 xenon lamps. Each one requires, I think it was at least 12,000 watts to power each light. So how they're going to power that is a bit of a logistics problem.
Well, they couldn't do it with solar power because they think there's no sunlight. So they're going to have some sort of a generator. So, Brenda, could you send me that? Could you DM that to me? So here, just a little hint. If it's 1 mile away, right? If it's just 1 mile away, if it's 13 degrees elevation, you need to have it be 1,216 feet high. Now, I live in Minnesota. The tallest building in Minnesota is the IDS Tower. It's 750 feet high. So you need another 500 feet taller than the IDS building to have the sun simulator be 13 degrees elevation. Just 1 mile away. Think about this.
Why are you thinking about it, though? Why are you entertaining it? I mean, I've got problems with flat Earth integrity, and now you're entertaining junk.
Because Flat Earth Banjo has said it. And you know who else has said it? Eric Dubay and Dearth and Austin Whitsitt has said it.
Well, thank goodness they should all go then.
So
they should all get the fuck out of my way.
So now, if the sun simulator is only 1 mile away, they need a structure that's 1,218 feet tall, moving at 15 degrees an hour, and telescoping as it moves side to side. So it shrinks until it it shrinks until it gets to local solar midnight, and then it starts telescoping until it gets to local solar noon. But somewhere in between local solar midnight and local solar moon, the real sun pops up and nobody notices, and the sun simulator goes away and nobody notices. How dumb are these people to think that that's actually an answer?
Like, how many of them actually believe that?
Some do.
Earth Awakenings.
Some do, yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to call people out, Verdak, but I've been over at Earth Awakenings and I've had the whole room arguing with me about the sun simulator.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard like the skepticism about maybe this. Yeah, maybe they could simulate the sun. I'm like, well, in this whole search of videos, right? Which I know you posted those, Mort. So I saw all those, and I'm telling you, I got them all. Right? There's 10 that they could post for everyone. I had this argument for 4 days, and it, I mean, it's kind of odd. I tried to explain like the population, you know, predominantly lives in the north and all this other stuff. Doesn't matter what angle it is, whatever. But I will say that wild theory that they could actually create a dome down there did come up. It did.
Dome.
Yeah, like a you know, like a Truman Show type thing. You know, like you're in the Truman Show.
You mean that famous documentary?
Yeah.
So just for reference, this is an application of the fourth law of Flurf. So Google laws of Flurf, and then look at number 4. That's what this is. They're coming up with explanations for things that are more and more desperate, that contradict other things.
Check your messenger. I was wrong about the number. It's 196, not 96.
Oh, okay, that's better.
And it outputs 300 kilowatts. So,
all right. So they need a 300 kilowatt generator on the ground.
Apparently.
1 mile away on a structure that's at the shortest 1,200, it's 1,218 feet tall. And moving.
Listen, if you're going to entertain the idea, you have to have it powered by air, not wired. You have to have it suspended some other way, not a tower. So your theory that it's wired and towered is just making it even dumber.
Okay. Okay. Let's entertain that one, Dan.
Let's not. It's a dumb thing.
Oh no, I know it's a dumb thing. But you go down that path. It's actually not better. It's worse. So now it has to be suspended 1 mile away from camp, 1,218 feet high, with probably a helicopter.
Wait,
right?
To match your prediction in degrees.
Yes, if it is 13.
Yeah, you're not including any of the normal delayed sunset stuff. When I tried to talk to you about that, you didn't include any of that.
There's no sunset. There's no sunset.
Talking about the angle, our angle to a distant sun.
Yeah, so the angle is slightly higher if you include refraction. It will be that none of the measurement instruments that we have will be sensitive enough to have the significant figures of that amount, but it's probably going to be sub arc minute is my guess. But if people want to look up the refraction tables from the nautical almanacs, what is the refraction angle modification at 13 degrees elevation? All right, so now you have a helicopter that is 1,218 feet above the surface, and it has to hold up this sun simulator. The sun simulator, in order at that distance, in order to be 1/2 of a degree wide, at that feet has to be 46 feet wide. So you have a helicopter suspending a 46-foot wide sun simulator with some sort of a rather large generator, also in the helicopter, maybe the helicopter can provide it. But of course you'd see it if it's a mile away. So let's move it 2 miles away. Now it needs to be 92 feet in diameter at 2 miles away. And of course you'd still see the helicopter. Oh, darn. Okay, hold on a second. Let's move it 10 miles away. Now it has to be holding up. It's 12,000 feet in elevation, which is possible for a helicopter. But the sun simulator has to be 400.
Why do you have to have a helicopter? Why are you making up parameters?
How is it suspended? What else could suspend it and move?
Fucking balloon?
What's going to steer the balloon?
Steer the balloon.
How's the balloon going to not move?
How do they steer satellites? They use fuel.
They don't. Satellites aren't on balloons, Dan.
They're not on balloons.
No, but I'm just saying, if you had something suspended and needed to move it, I would try propulsion.
Okay, so you're going to have a balloon. That's fine. Awesome. You're going to have a balloon suspending a 461-foot wide sun simulator, putting out enough light so
So why do they use balloons for some payloads? It's because they're heavier, too heavy to lift by rocket.
It has nothing.
So you don't
has
have
nothing
a weight
to do with
limitation.
this.
You don't have a weight and size limitation.
Oh, yes, you do. Balloons are horribly inefficient when it comes to weight. You need a massive
They
volume.
are not. They're more efficient than rockets. What's wrong with you?
Come on. And we're not comparing to rockets because
You know it's true.
rockets don't do this.
Well, look up payloads and why they use balloons for satellites. Look it up.
Michael, what about a really big Zeppelin?
So now you got a Zeppelin, right?
Yeah.
That's a balloon, right? Now that Zeppelin has to hold up a 461-foot wide sun simulator and have a
blimp, really.
have a generator in it and powerful enough to output enough light to light up the entire landscape.
And Mike?
Yes, Jesse.
And every time you double the distance, you've got to quadruple the power to maintain the same intensity.
Of course.
Which McKeegan will be measuring.
Yeah.
So we have to work out the luminosity of something that can generate that much power.
Suffice it to say, a fake sun, simulator sun, artificial sun is implausible. I don't think we need to talk about it more.
Yeah, it is the most ridiculous proposal I've heard yet, and that's why I think it's fun to talk about.
But wait, is it less ridiculous than some giant conspiracy somehow hiding the shape of the Earth?
Oh yeah, it is less ridiculous than that, of course. The 2,500-year conspiracy started by NASA with Pythagoras 2,500 years ago, of course, to hide the shape of the Earth. Or maybe it wasn't NASA, maybe it was the Jesuits 500 years before Christ. No, that doesn't make sense. Could it have been the people that descended from Abraham? Well, they weren't all that popular in Greece 500 years ago when Pythagoras was proposing that. I don't know who possibly could have started it.
Well, they're sitting around a campfire in their cave, and somebody came up with it.
Well, actually, Nathan Oakley says it started by the Roman Catholic Church 500 years ago.
But
Nathan Oakley says a lot of things.
But it wasn't. It was not. It definitely was pre-Christ that people said that the Earth was a sphere. So that doesn't go very far.
I mean, balloons as satellites is, I don't know, it's kind of up there for me. That might
So
be
how
the
do you
top.
how do you know this for sure?
How do I know what for sure?
That it wasn't 500 years ago. It was farther away.
Oh, Pythagoras is one of the earliest ones. But yeah, I will. Hold on a second. Let's see. History of the knowledge of Earth being a sphere.
He could link it back to let me pull what the name of the person was too from the
There you
Roman
go.
Catholic Church.
There's with citations. You've got Pythagoras in 495 BC. You got 320 BC Aristarchus of Samos, which was written by Archimedes in the Sand Reckoner. You've got 322 BC Aristotle. You got 300 BC Euclid wrote Phenomena, a translation and study of Hellenistic treatises in spherical astronomy. And I link that's linked in that the thing I put in there. 212 Archimedes wrote the Sand Reckoner. You've got 194 BC Eratosthenes. You got 7980 Pliny the Elder. You got 160 Ptolemy. All right.
Don't say Aristarchus too loud in Discord.
Yeah, Pete Shea might show up.
Yeah, Pete Shea. Yeah.
All right. So Nico set the correction for the sun if it's at 13 degrees elevation, and it comes out to, is that arc minutes or arcs? Oh, it's it looks like it's minutes. So 20 minutes, is that right? So 20 arc minutes, which is a third of a degree, is how much higher, if I'm reading that correctly from Nico here.
And just to be clear, he was talking about heliocentrism.
I really doubt that. I've seen like 6-8 minutes in stars that are at low elevation. So no, I don't think it's 20 minutes.
Probably seconds.
That's looks like it's from the 2025 Nautical Almanac. So look at the thing
seconds.
that.
Okay, I yield.
Oh wait, it's seconds. Now Nico said it's minutes. I think it's seconds. I think you're right.
Okay, I yield.
Okay, his name was Nicholas Copernicus. That's the guy who invented it from the Roman Catholic Church.
No, Copernicus talked about the heliocentric model. We are talking about globe. So that's a bait and switch.
That's the same thing, dude.
No, it's not.
I see the degrees symbol and the minutes symbol in the left-hand app alt column, and then it looks like seconds to the right of that.
Yeah, it could be.
Wait, you're
that
saying
seems more correct.
heliocentrism and globe is not the same thing?
That's right.
It's not the same thing.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well,
You could have a flat Earth that was, that went around the sun, for example.
Well, nobody really thinks that. Well, a couple do. I have talked to you, but no. For a long time, the idea was that the Earth was a globe and that it was in the center. But the Earth was a globe for about 2,000 years was the predominant idea. So that's different.
So like a globe can still be geocentric.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a globe, but it's in the middle of
everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what about before 2,000 years? Then what was before then?
Or 2,500? People generally had a rough idea of flat, and almost all of them, well, the ones that wrote about what the sun did at night generally said that the sun went away for everybody at night. And so those people, including the near Mideast, as well as Aztec and others, they said that the sun went underneath the entire Earth. So like the Greeks said it went into a tunnel and it like rode on in a boat on a river at nighttime, and then it popped up on the other side and out of the ocean. And in the book of Enoch, it says that it goes into a portal at nighttime. And so everybody experiences night simultaneously. And that is definitely not what modern flat earthers have said since the mid 1800s. They've said the sun does circles like a disc, like above a disc, and that somehow magic causes the sun to set. No plausible mechanism for the sun setting, just it does because of a couple different vague words.
Okay, but what you're saying is before 2,500 years, people thought it was flat Earth then, right?
Generally, yes.
And clarity on that table, that is to the semi-diameter, so that from an upper limb you come down 12, or you add 12 minutes, and lower limb minus 20 minutes. You notice that adds up to 32 minutes, and it's asymmetrical by a few minutes.
Yeah, because the vertical compression is different in elevation there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the asymmetry there is only 8 minutes.
Yeah. The point being, if that's arc seconds, I'm borrowing Bob the Science Guy's bubble sextant, which is accurate to less than a degree to some number of arc minutes, but it's not accurate to the arc second. So
and those are in fact arc minutes because you're dealing with the diameter of the sun. So you notice you add the plus 12 and the 20, that's 32. That's the diameter of the sun. It's just showing it's asymmetrical.
I see.
So it is arc minutes, but so when you're dealing with the elevation angle to the sun, mostly you're quoting to the center of the sun, and then you have to invoke the semi-diameter if you're only shooting a limb. And in this case, since you're low, the center is asymmetrical to the limbs.
All right.
Can I just say something as well? Like with regards to I think it's a common thing, and Gakushi brought it up from Oakley, and it's not an accident that Oakley says that. It's a deliberate strategy by the higher level flat earthers, the ones that are actually, have some ulterior motive, I would say. They deliberately conflate heliocentrism and the globe model as part of what's called a Mott and Bailey strategy. And Whitsitt does this all the time in debates. He argues the whole time in the debate for geocentrism, and that allows him to avoid defending the more difficult position of flat Earth. And then at the end, or as part of his debate tactic, he does like a bait and switch to switch it into a flat Earth argument. And it's very dishonest.
All right. So I just posted, for those wondering, I just posted a picture of a coin from let's see, I don't know the exact year, but it's quite a few centuries ago. First century? Looks like it's first century. On the backside there, on the obverse, you can see there's a Dionysus sitting on top of a globe. So the Greeks in the first century definitely had a concept of the Earth being a globe.
Well, if it's a globe, what are those ribbons that are strewn across it?
I don't know, but it's a globe, Dan. You don't need to play games with that.
And
you can just say, yeah.
Planets, stars, what's he playing with in the air? They
said it was a globe.
What are the things about in the sky? Birds, stars, what are those things? Crabs.
They could be dust particles.
They look like octopus.
3.9 arc minutes.
What's up with his hand anyway? This guy's not even human. Look at him close. He's
he's Dionysus. He's not human. He's a Greek god.
Well, I ain't listening to him then.
It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with the religion. It has to do with the fact that the Greeks had the position that the Earth was a globe 2,000 years ago, not 500 years ago introduction.
Also, before you write him off, he was known for wild parties.
He was. That's
but
Dionysus.
It was also something like this argument
was a first narcissist.
I mean, this argument is like, I don't know, it's kind of like a tale of both tales, right? I mean, if you ask the Spartans, different story, right? I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like, I get like these kind of arguments when it comes to that, and we can trace the history back. You can actually go in the Bible and you have different people believing whether or not it's a globe or a disc, right?
Yeah.
In fact, there's even different interpretations of the Bible, whether or not it's like in, the King James version versus like the Hebrew script. I just think all that shit fucking divides us, to be honest. I think it's kind of horrible when those arguments get brought up personally.
So it can be like sort of a pick your version to fit your paradigm if you want.
Oh, it absolutely is what happens. Yeah.
Wait till you hear about the different interpretations dealing with sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't that discussion. I want to I want to address, somebody said, let's see who in the chat here said, took umbrage with the link I provided, the history of the knowledge of the Earth being a sphere. Hold on, I'll find it.
I can comment on that.
Well, somebody already did. I want to address the person that already commented. But it was a typed comment. I'll find it. Give me a second.
I gotta go for a bit, but it was good talking to you guys. And McToon, it was good meeting you.
Yeah, thank you.
You too, brother.
All right, Good White Light says the Greeks never made a globe. The globe you're showing is from Erdafel. It's the oldest surviving terrestrial globe made between 1791 and 1793. Nice try bolstering the globe Greeks. Well, I didn't claim in that link. I'll put that link again. There, this what you're looking at there, the overview is the one photo that I have on that page. So when it's hosted by WordPress puts the preview image as the first photo if you only have one photo. So I didn't claim on that page that it was from the Greeks. So try reading the whole page of Good White Light before you respond to that. Okay. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to go to the bathroom. Just you talk amongst yourselves while I'm going to the bathroom.
Too much tab.
What do you guys think of the globe of the supposed globe of Crates of Malice? Is that something that you guys are familiar with? I've heard like a few things regarding the historicity of it, but supposedly that was the first model of the Earth as a globe that's recorded in a primary source, although there was earlier arguments that the Earth ought to be a globe. I posted the link to the Wikipedia, but yeah, that's from 150 BC. Supposedly there was a physical globe that was made of the Earth at that time, although obviously it hasn't survived.
Isn't the torrid zone Vegas?
Sorry.
Las Vegas, isn't that the torrid zone?
Yes, that is.
How did he predict Vegas?
I don't know.
Yeah, so more to answer your question, the first century was when the first globe model came about. In fact, if you actually the airplane question gets brought up a lot. If you Google that, you'll actually find it. And there's a historian. Goddamn, I'll have to look it up, but I think he's out of Princeton. One of his theses was on that, and he wrote a book about it. But I think the first century was when, like, the solid globe model was accepted, like from a scholarly perspective. But I could be wrong on that.
Wild towns with no rules and lots of sex and drugs and rock and roll. Well, maybe not rock and roll. But were well known back in the time of the ancients. I mean, some of these where sailors were in that. I mean, some of these towns are just crazy with prostitutes and even whole temples.
They rolled rocks down hills.
And the armillary sphere does date to a couple centuries BC.
Oh wow. That's cool. Thanks for that, Shubal. And I think Verdak, thank you, Shubal. Appreciate that. Verdak, I think your point about this, dividing us, I would tend to agree that, in general, this argument divides us. The problem is there is one set of historical facts that are well supported, and then flat earthers are making an argument that despite all of the established historical fact, the globe was created, I don't know, Dave Weiss has said in the 1950s, Shane has told me in the 1850s by the Royal Society. Now, Nathan Oakley says it was with Copernicus. But the key thing is that they're inventing a history to discredit the globe and make it seem because they know it's ridiculous to think that this conspiracy has lasted for so long. So again, it's like a bad faith thing by the top flat earthers to come up with a fake narrative.
Bro, I fucking hate this fucking thing so much, dude. I don't even know. I'm probably not even the right like state of mind to actually like explain it. But I know Dan's in here, but I'm telling you, man, like everything they talk about, dividing us, right? Deception, everything. In my opinion, man, like this shit was brought up, right? It was falsified, and it fucking like it turned into a movement with outside influencers. So, you know, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't agree with this. What I do agree with is going down there with like to the final experiment, doing the experiment, seeing this stuff, filming it. Well, who knows? It'll probably create more divide, you know?
Well, I was talking to Jeremy about it earlier, not to put Jeremy on blast, but he was kind of suggesting that a better use of this money would be to do a more extensive physical test of curvature. But the problem I have with that is that it's kind of like the same thing with this. It's like, I mean, Shubil has shown me, I don't know, Shubil, if it's like dozens of different measurements that you've done of curvature, like many different ways, many, like not just like with theodolites, but you know, various methods. Like we have the GPS measurements with the raw ECEF coordinates. I mean, it's just like, I just don't know, like, what else do you need, you know? That's the problem I have with it.
What they need is they will only accept.
I do have hundreds of measurements. I only brought forth a few dozen, and of a coherent subset, which builds a perfect arc, and that's splayed out in multiple azimuths, instrument at multiple elevations, and incrementally from 1 mile to 28 miles with a proper instrument over multiple years, and not as a flat Earth thing. It was something I just had, and I said, well, look at this. Everyone's asking for, show me the measurements. Well, here's the measurements. Oh, that's just a sketch. I go, what do I, like, okay, I don't know what else to do. I put it into Excel, not even some geographic, you know, presupposed software. I put it into Excel. Just did a least squares polynomial fit, and it returned a very high integrity. Now, involving multiple dates also involves multiple weathers, but I did restrict my observations to midday fair weather and spring through fall, not winter.
So, speaking of 27 miles, you know, oddly enough, when we do 27 miles,
we weren't speaking of 27
sight.
miles. Dan, the topic is we're talking about Antarctica here, really. So.
Oh, really? That's not what I was hearing. I'm sorry.
Dan.
Well, the reason I brought up Shubil's measurements was that other flat earthers have maybe said, well, you shouldn't spend money on this Antarctica trip. You should spend it on a measurement. But my point is that
measurements have already been done.
Your point before that was, what else could you do? You go, what else can we do? That was your point. What else could we do? Now, I'm going to suggest maybe I'm going to ask why mainstream media can't demonstrate it, why they need to lie. That's an interesting.
I can tell you why.
Nobody's lying, Dan.
I can tell you. No,
well, who said that? Hang on, who said that? Because that's certainly not what
I said that. I can tell
never
you.
mind. It's only you.
I can tell you. It's their particular point of view is they illustrate things. They're lazy, right? They didn't feel like they had to do a scientific research. They just had to illustrate the idea. Like, let me put it this way: when an author writes or a reporter writes a report for the newspaper, they go to their bin and they select a stock photo that relates to the topic of the article. That's what they do. And that's what National Geographic did. They just created an image that corresponded with what they were talking about.
Well, they didn't create anything. They weren't manipulating anything. They weren't part of the planning or any of the sort. So you're almost there. And it's not, I don't want to focus on it, but when you guys are done with Antarctica and what is happening here by the end of the year is, you got to remember, from
he doesn't
my
want to focus on it.
A lot of really.
He doesn't want to focus on it, but he's going to focus on it.
Over the past 5 years, you know, like absolutely COVID was enough, but a lot of decent people. I'm sorry, I wasn't done. Why don't you finish?
Go ahead.
So, how would you respond to that, MC2, and like this idea that, like, what is? I guess that I hear this a lot, and we've kind of had this discussion on the server too. Like, what is the real value of the final experiment from that perspective, and spending the money in this way, and in light of like opportunity cost of spending it elsewhere?
Well,
it works for me too. By the way, I need this to clean up everything to get cleaned up. It didn't used to be just fun and games. It used to be real.
Apparently, Dan is now MC2. So the question. Oh, geez.
One small comment.
Hold on. Just hold that thought, Shubil. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, the money spent. Well, there's certainly many ways to spend money. So, it gets into political stuff. Is this the best way to spend money? Is this the best way? No, there's no best way to spend money. Nobody's going to agree on all that stuff. Will has this kind of money to spend. He has this discretionary money. He thinks it's an important thing. Bonus, you get to go to Antarctica. It's a bucket list item for many people. My guess is Will was like, hey, I'd like to go to Antarctica. This does that too. I killed 2 stones with 1 bird. So awesome. So is money better spent elsewhere for flat earthers? I don't know if it is, because the measurements that they pretend that they want have been provided, and then they say that doesn't count. So what counts? You ask them what counts. You never get an answer, a clear, objectively measurable answer of what counts.
Right.
Hey, Mike.
And
no, that's
one
Shuba.
comment I was going to add. The one comment I was going to add is, we see the sun going around the circle overhead, and they say, but we still don't have measurement of curvature. So in concert with the sun going around, there's my work, which is dovetails into every textbook.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah.
Do you think that the debate between the 2 pastors, I forget their names exactly, do you think that was a catalyst that spurred Will Duffy into doing this? That perhaps he felt that Flat Earth was encroaching on his, I don't know how to put it, his church, or the church in general, and that he felt that he needed to do something about that?
Will has said in some of his different interviews, I haven't watched every one of them, but if I can synthesize a little bit of what he said, he was planning it before that debate happened. When he was in the audience, when Dean Odell said, hey, let's go to Antarctica and see what happens, see if the sun goes overhead. And then Dean Odell said, not at anybody else's prompting, if the sun does circles, the earth is a globe. Dean Odell said that. Okay. Will, when that was said, let's go to Antarctica, something like that. He actually said it. You can hear it on the audio. That was Will that yelled it. He was already planning it. He was in the early stages of it. So then your deeper question about it, yes, Will does see flat earth as a problem for his faith, that people are going and saying the Bible says, and then some things that are not true, which will then discredit the Bible. So anybody that has a holy book, somebody else is running around saying, hey, this holy book is wrong, would be offended by those other people saying, hey, this holy book is wrong. And so flat earthers, when they say the Bible says, they are claiming that the Bible is wrong because the earth is definitely a globe.
It's kind of offensive, like when Duffy will say, like, we use science to prove the earth's a globe, but also science says the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Like, I'd say that's just as offensive.
Yeah, I want to address a good white light in one more time here. So good white light is literally mentally handicapped. It's unfortunate. So here is one more time. I'll post the link. So, and then if everybody goes to that web page there, just go to that web page on your own, and you can see on that web page I have one photo on that web page. And I don't think that good white light is skilled enough to click the link, and then probably doesn't have his mommy around to read that page to him. That is just a list of different things with links, and it has as a sample image the particular image you're looking at there, which is labeled. In fact, if you go to the page, you can right click on it, you can go open image in new tab. It's named Behaim's Erdefell, right? It is that page does not in anywhere claim that particular photograph that page doesn't even address that photograph. It's just something to have on the page, but nowhere on that page does it claim that photograph is from the Greeks. That photograph is in fact from about the 1400s. And so here, good white light, who's literally mentally handicapped, so severely mentally handicapped that he can't understand that the preview that Discord rendered on his behalf has that photograph with a preview of the bullet list that I typed on that page that starts with Pythagoras in 495 BC, and then 320 BC, and then 322 BC, and then 300 BC. And if you kept reading it, you would see it gets up to the 1400s, in fact. And I do have on that page 1492 AD, Martin Behaim made a globe of the earth, the Erdefell. That is on that page, which is what the image is. So I was incorrect when I said it doesn't address it. It does in fact address it, and it has a link to a page talking about it. So the literally mentally handicapped, severely mentally handicapped, good white light, poor guy, probably escaped from the asylum, and they don't know. Is unaware of how previews work in Discord, so maybe he can ask his mommy to teach him. Okay.
Here's an image with those bands on them. Let's see what this is. I'll post it.
And then mentally handicapped again comes in with claiming that they're disingenuous. Ask your mommy to read that page for you. I don't know what those
it's probably the same thing you're showing, huh?
Those, that looks like it's some sort of a rough map of what they thought that the globe looked like at the time. It only really has Europe and Libya kind of somewhat laid out. The rest is just these.
It's called the Globe of Crates.
Yeah, it's just a rough idea of what they had, because they weren't traveling at the time to those locations, so they didn't know.
Huh. But generally, these vertical and horizontal bands were there. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I see more of them.
Yeah, it's labeled on there.
Crates.
As oceans, Dan. They're labeled as oceans.
Who's Crates Malice?
All right.
I'm not sure, Dan, but there's an interesting one too that Charles sent me, Flat Earth Math, where there's a reference in Archimedes' principle of when he's talking about hydrostatics. He mentions that there's a sphere of water will form a sphere. What is it? Let me find it. I'm sorry. Essentially saying that the Earth has a spherical shape. And then Bebby also sent me some early stuff. I have to find it for you, but there's some really early stuff that describes why they thought before they had. Okay, so here it is. Archimedes on floating bodies. I'll post it in the chat. So he says right here, For every liquid that's come to a state as to remain motionless, it will have its surface as a figure of a sphere having the same center as the Earth. And so, yeah, that's just kind of interesting as well. Defining the idea almost of like level early on.
Like a woman sounds like something that Austin Whitsitt would say.
It was Bob Dylan, but nice try.
Get that reference. Okay.
Yeah, me neither.
Good White Light has said that you're acting like a woman, and that's something that Austin Whitsitt would say.
I see.
Oh, yes. Yeah, most definitely.
I didn't claim it was a Crete globe. Wow. I mean, seriously, good. Can somebody do a wellness check on Good White Light? Because I think the people at the asylum are missing him.
That's okay. He took the meds with him, so they're looking for those, and they haven't noticed he's gone.
Oh, makes sense now. Okay. They're like, oh yeah, yeah. His meds have been taken. Okay, the little plastic cup is empty.
Mort, your screenshot there with the statement that you read out. What is that dated to?
I would have to ask Charles. I'm not sure, but Archimedes was active around like 246. So.
Okay, gotcha. That's a bold statement to make then.
Yeah, I'd have to double check it with Charles. But that's what he had sent me. So, and that's the thing with the Globe of Crates as well. I have heard some things like regarding the historicity of it, but it is interesting that it because it seems to describe a physical globe model. But obviously it becomes more difficult. But when I think the point is though, if you read, for me, like I always argue a little bit later because they had like more speculative arguments early on, I would say, for the existence of the Earth as a globe. But by Ptolemy, he has worked out a very precise argument where he actually goes through every shape: flat Earth, concave Earth, cube Earth, polyhedral Earth, cylinder Earth, and he explains based on the celestial observations why globe is the only possible shape.
He missed the donut Earth.
Oh yeah, well they didn't have the idea of a torus at the time, I don't think necessarily, but I've tried to get flat earthers to engage with that argument, and to this date I have never had one actually engage with the argument. The only thing they do is try to muddy the waters and say that Ptolemy didn't exist, or this work was later than it was supposed to be, and it's
So I have I have from about 300 BC. I have a copy of Euclid's Phenomena, and I'll try to share it here. No, I can't do it there. I gotta do it here. All right. I'll share it to Discord. There you go. All right. Do you see on Discord? Are you seeing my share? There you go.
Yes.
Okay. So here's a book, Euclid's Phenomena. So this is about 300 BC, and so he goes through in here, based on the movement of the stars and stuff, the shape of the Earth. So, it's actually a geometric proof of it. It's pretty good. It's not that big, and there's most of this book is actually describing how they did the translation. So, it goes through a bunch of propositions, a bunch of geometrical proofs, then, and comes out to talking about how the stars move and how the path that they take throughout the night establishes the shape of the Earth being a sphere. So
that's odd. I wonder why Bev hasn't tried to realize this version of Euclid. That's a bit strange.
Bev pretends that this doesn't exist. His basically his main thing is it wasn't Euclid. That's about it. Because some people are like, well, maybe it wasn't Euclid. Okay. It doesn't matter actually who wrote it. It's a proof independent of who wrote it or when it was written. But the timing of it certainly can be traced back to approximately the time of Euclid anyway. So whether the human that put pen to paper here or quill to paper was named Euclid or some other person is beside the point. That it's who got credit for it, but it exists. It existed at the time, and the fact that it is a geometric proof based on the motions of the stars through the sky doesn't change the fact at all of what it is. So.
By the way, if you have any interactions with Bev, he recently denied that a lake at rest is level and that plumb lines over a lake at rest are perpendicular to the surface of the lake.
Wow. He thinks he's so smart.
Yeah, no surprise here.
Yeah, well, Bev claims that he has a license to survey, but he also says he never read a book at all about it. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he claim he has a license? He says that he is a surveyor.
No, he claims he has a certificate.
Yeah, he does have a certificate. Okay. Yeah, and
some sort of,
so who the hell is
GSC thing?
Who the hell is Bev?
I don't know.
Rick says, "Who the hell is Bev?" Bev is a flat earther that rejects that pretends that he's not a flat earther.
Everyone knows he's globe.
Yep, of course. Well, anyway, here I'll give you a couple things. Here's his certificate. Notice that on the certificate it says "Research Flat Earth." He currently claims to not be a flat earther because, and when you ask him, he says, "Oh, because of mountains." Like, nobody actually thinks that flat earthers don't believe in mountains. Nobody. It's this ridiculous thing that he thinks is actually an argument. So here's another of him claiming that being a flat earther.
I think he's just under the misconception that it's clever.
Yes, he is. Plus, he doesn't want to have to support his claims. And he knows he can't support his claims. So.
I'm still trying to decipher that thing that Sea Lion Prime put up there. I've been working on that thing for years. What a bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah, so he's saying if the Earth is flat, there's no change in elevation. No, that is not what people think flat Earth means. People think that flat Earth means that the entirety of the Earth is, aside from topography, is flat. So it doesn't deviate from a flat surface by more than the topography. So.
And then charts like that, they say, look, no curvature, and they'll be like the Mississippi River or the St. Lawrence Seaway. They'll say, look, no curvature, the Nile, no curvature. Well, it's an XY plot, and so they use that kind of graphic often in different ways. Mostly because if you take a profile and Google Earth, it comes out as an XY plot. They go, look, no curvature.
Well, if I wasn't Brad Pitt, then Angelina Jolie would say so. Angelina never said so, so therefore I'm Brad Pitt.
Wow.
See how Modus Gollens works?
We get to talk with Brad Pitt. That's amazing.
Well, if you finally pin Bev down, and you can do it, it's not easy, but you can. He will eventually admit that he believes that all elevations, all points of an equal elevation lie in a plane.
Yes.
Now, that by itself is exactly what the definition of flat Earth would be.
Yes. He says,
I was in a flat Earth. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is a bit of a tiny bit of a topic shift, but go ahead. Yeah, that's where you go.
Well, real quick. I gotta go to bed. So, Dan, no shit. Just want the fucking flat Earth answer. If that sun doesn't set, what does that mean for you, Dan? Because you haven't given a straight answer yet tonight. What does it mean to you? Does it change anything? Does it influence your thoughts? Just give it to me, man.
No, not in those ways that you're thinking.
Does it change anything? Does it?
Yeah,
change
it's gonna help me weed out some of the bullshit. It's gonna make someone make some decisions if there's a firmament of any kind, or if it's just a weak claim. I know people that think there's a middle sun under the earth and it's projecting upwards through Mount Meru. I mean, I know people that say everything, not just anything, everything. And they need to all shut the fuck up.
But what about if we can pull up firsthand accounts from people that work there that have already seen the 24-hour sun many, many times? Are they all lying?
It doesn't fix. No, see, you don't understand what flat Earth is. You don't get it. You don't get it. Well, I put it in writing. I'll post it again. But it's about a culture, a damaged society that we have. And if things are hidden from us and our history is hidden from us, me and you got problems.
So
it's just denial. It's just denialism. That's all it is. It's denial.
No,
so basically what you're saying is not the actual Earth. Just problems with society, that you think society's lying to us about certain things, not the actual Earth. Is that what you're saying?
I think with our history, our potential, our lineage, and everything about our individual powers and strength, your ability to create and manifest, and even beyond physical, like what they might call miracles or pure manifestation. Remember the story, like the Tibet, those guys that were filming the guys in Tibet, the monks, and they ran out of film. And before you know it, this one guy goes and sits on top of a mountain, and he comes back with the film. It's only available out of New York. And the New York shop says, yeah, this fucking monk walked in and bought him. And it's like, okay, did the guy really? Yeah, did the guy really do it? I don't know.
Yeah,
but there is stories that are quite fantastic. It turns out one of them is an 8-inch drop.
Yeah, most of the castles in England are just packed full of ghosts. Absolutely.
Why do you mention it? I mean, I have a story about that. I'm just wondering why you mentioned it, because I'm not sure anyone followed you. Oh, because it's not tangible.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
There's stories.
So, yeah, I know somebody that was young, and she grew up in England, and they used to party at a castle, and there was a rapist ghost. And they said that a couple, like two of the, I think three.
Dan, I'm going to request that you do not finish that story, please.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
do you mind if I ask a question?
Inappropriate story for this.
I got a question. I got a question about the term sea level. I was shot down when I suggested it in a flat Earth group. To me, sea level is an expression of a measurement taken on a vertical axis.
Yeah.
So where sea level finds itself is on a vertical axis. Whereas they were trying to put to me that sea level was a descriptor of the surface of Earth. Like, that's what that sea level means. The sea is level. And I was like, hang on a minute, surely not. Like, we're not describing
they've swapped
how
in
the
a
sea's
different
behaving on average.
They've swapped in a different definition for level than what the people that deal with that use as their definition.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sea level.
So,
okay.
Level is defined. Yeah. The definition of level is a curve. So when Dan's little meme that he posted there, it's sea level meaning it's C, curvature of the surface of the Earth, not C curve. Well, yes, C curve. The surface of the Earth is curved. The surface of the sea is curved.
Yeah. And then my follow-up clarifying question, like my thing that I tried to get them to enlighten me on was, okay, if sea level is not an expression on a vertical axis, then why do we refer to things as so many meters above sea level if it's not an expression on a vertical axis?
Those are stationary expressions, and when it gets confusing is when you go to take your level point to another point of level, and we keep talking about the line in between. We agree that 2 points can be level, but the line in between, the movement between them, is what we argue about.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to chime in on that. I think you're close, Dan. I think more specifically, it's the datum reference. For example, for a globe, we would reference the center of the Earth, and then we would look at water all around, and it's equidistant, making it level. Your datum would be a line across the flat Earth in which you would put a spirit level, for example, and say it's a level across that. We're actually differing our datum references.
I just know if I hang a big picture, like a really big one, 5 foot, 10 foot picture, and I use 2 nails instead of 1, and I level them, then I truly believe the straight line between them truly is a straight line. And on the globe, you don't really believe in straight lines. It's weird.
No, we do believe in straight lines, but level is not a straight line. Level is not a straight line.
Actually, those 2 nails are 2 points that are on that arc.
But Dan, here's the question now, and this is where, and I don't think you're of this type, right? There's a lot of flat earthers like, well, it's not. It's look how straight it is. It's perfectly straight. The question is, how much curvature is there in between that, according to the globe? What is the quantity of curvature, and is it something that's measurable with your instrumentation that you have there? So, if you are talking about a really large picture that's 3 feet apart, about a meter apart, how many degrees of curvature is there from one side to the other? And the answer for the globe, the answer is 0.000009 degrees. So it's 5 zeros. And how many millimeters of bulge is in the middle? Oh, hold on. I got to redo my calculation because I don't have enough precision. Hold on.
Well, you're still making my point. You don't believe in the straight line between 2 things.
How many?
And we think that line is level.
Let me hold on. This is important, Dan. This is important. The amount, the sagitta of the curve, right? How much does it bulge above a straight line? Is the sagitta? How much? And when that 3 feet does it? 0.00002 millimeters. So that's 4 zeros in front of a 2 millimeters. Now, it's difficult to measure over, with the kind of instruments that we just have handy, a single 1 millimeter bulge between a curve and a straight line. And we're talking about 5 zeros in front of the 2. So you can't measure that. You need to do something. You need to do a measurement on a scale that actually is resolvable by the instrument.
And in description, though, those 2 nails are 2 points on the curve, and the line between them is a chord.
Yeah. So I want to ask Blue Marble Science was here. Somebody said hi to Blue Marble Science. Hold on. Let me see. Who said it? General E. Shady says hi. Please say hi. Are you still here, Blue Marble Science?
Yeah. Hey, Shady. What's going on?
So from you, your thoughts on what might be useful to try to do when we're in Antarctica that's reasonably done while we're there that would be, you know, more than just seeing the sun, right? Something else that might be reasonably done.
Getting fingered by Austin doesn't count.
I haven't really given that much thought. Give me a minute. Let me think about it.
Okay. Well, maybe a different time, even if you need to have more. I'm gonna go a little in a little bit here. I'm gonna do I received something in the mail today. I'm gonna open up. Effed Up Curve is in my chat here. Says he's claiming that we can't measure curvature. That's not my claim at all, Joe. Why would you do that? I think you definitely can measure curvature. I don't think that Dan or you or me has the instrumentation to measure the curvature over a 1 meter stretch, because the globe prediction for that is 0.000002 millimeters. That's not a lot. And so I don't know how, I'm not that good at metrology to be able to even put together a way to quantify that. But I do know how you could do it over the distance of maybe 1,200 feet. I would employ the services of a theodolite. So.
Well, one thing you could easily do is measure the acceleration of gravity down there. You're far enough south there that there's going to be very little centrifugal force.
Yes. Yeah. So critical
think.
Yeah.
Critical think is bringing his scales. Okay.
And I messaged him because Critical Think is in Australia, and then we will be in the southern tip of South America. Yeah. And then we'll all be in Santiago, because that's one of the layovers. So I don't remember the exact latitude of Santiago. But I messaged him. I said, what if I brought the scale that you use, so it's the same scale and the same test mass, home to Minnesota here and tested it here and then shipped it back to you? I don't know exactly what he has, and maybe it's kind of on the more valuable side and it doesn't make sense. I haven't finished that conversation with him yet, but
I'm not sure what the regulations are, but I think if you manage to smuggle a penguin home, that's going to be bragging rights forever.
But I have a penguin already. It's my dog.
I
think they tend to frown on that.
Yeah,
the charm with Critical Think is he's been accumulating measurements from many other people at particularly like Bob's drive from Michigan to Florida to the Gulf Coast and back, and he's added that in, and he's been traveling around quite a bit in his environment, and he's pieced together, and he does some very sophisticated maths, and he can show how the measured data actually conforms to not just a sphere but an ellipsoid, and so he's been showing his math chops on that. I mean, he's got a very technical career behind him. And this is just the additional data points, and that's why he's all excited about getting an 80-degree south latitude measurement.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
McTin, on your guys' packing list, did they give you guys boots? Types of boots to get?
We are renting the boots from ALE.
Oh man, get Solomon's. Merrill's might do all right, but look at Solomon's.
I'm not purchasing any. I mean, I live in Minnesota. I have boots. I don't ice fish or do stuff outside enough to justify having high quality boots.
Well, just look them up.
Merrill, good shoes.
And then so are Merrill's, yeah.
So it turns out. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Michael, besides bringing back evidence of what you're going to bring back, could you bring back a little bit of Antarctic ice just so we can verify that you were there?
It might melt.
I'd like to hear the ice crack when you put it in a drink. That they say that the ice in Antarctica, if you go, because it's just under compression so much that it cracks when you put it in a drink. It like actually makes a sound like music almost.
Yeah, I suppose if you get it from farther down too, if you pull some out because it's more compressed. But yeah, I don't know if that's something we do. So yeah, that'd be cool. All right, Blue Marble, anything else?
That's about all that comes to mind. It's practical. I think it'd be lovely to be able to do a Foucault pendulum or something like that. But how are you going to do that?
You need a structure and some no wind. Now, Jesse, are you still here, Jesse? Jesse has done a longitude measurement. Is he still here? Oh, he's not here. Somebody go tell Jesse. So he wants to get people that are in the southern hemisphere particularly. So Rick, if you are, I don't know if you've spoken with Jesse, but measure the distance between 2 points on a straight east-west road or something to get the distance between them, and then get the latitude longitude between them to get the linear spacing. Because if the Earth is a big space pizza, dirt pizza, definitely not flying through space, but with the Tupperware dome over the top. Anyway, if it's a pizza, then south of the equator, the lines of longitude must get bigger and bigger as you go farther south. So in Australia, if you're at, say, 45 degrees, I don't think you get to 45 south, maybe 35 south in Australia, then the lines of longitude must be spaced significantly farther than the equator and absolutely farther than 35 degrees north. Easy thing to test. Measure that linear distance, get the coordinates, and see what you get. So he has suggested to me that I do it in Antarctica there, because we're at about 80 degrees south. So I'm going to try to figure that out. How can I measure that distance accurately? Because you want to have something that's kind of long, a kilometer. Here. Hey, Jesse. So like when you did that test, I just told him about it. How long did you measure that linear test east-west?
1 arc minute of longitude, which at my latitude was like 1,300 meters or so.
Okay.
But it would be a lot less in Antarctica.
Yes, at 80 south. 1 arc minute. Okay. So I did the math for 1 degree, because at 90 degrees south, 1 degree is maybe 89.99 degrees south. It's rather small. It's just a little circle around the actual geographic South Pole. But at 80, an entire degree was actually still a good amount. I think it was 1.2 kilometers.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. I'm just guessing from memory. I'm trying to dredge it up from memory.
Yeah, hold on. I got some information on that, I think.
Okay. Let's see.
But to get your longitude, you'd be kind of stuck with a handheld Garmin.
Yes.
GPS receiver.
Yep. Oh, Jesse has the
I'd be keen to do it.
And I assume you'll have a handheld Garmin GPS.
Yeah, I think people have talked about that. Okay, so here
Was
Jesse.
that a yes on the handheld?
Yeah, I think Wolfie said that he would donate one, so maybe Critical Think will show up. I'm not certain on that yet.
And you can get GPS apps for your phone for free that don't require internet.
Yeah, the Compass app on the iPhone does that. So there you go. This is the actual, like, right next to the runway. I think
right. This is at the station. The camp is like 10 miles from the runway, so this is not in the right spot.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Geo was on a big spat about the sun never appearing in the south in pictures from Antarctica. So I digged into Google Earth and I actually found the runway and the camp on Google Earth, and I matched up the mountains from skydiving videos, and I found the exact spot of the camp on the YouTube or on the Google Earth.
Okay.
I was there for that. I was there for that whole process.
So it's 10 miles away, you say? Okay.
Yeah, they have all-wheel drive vans and tracked vehicles for transporting people over to the airport.
So what direction is it from the runway to the camp?
Let me share my screen.
All right.
I posted some stuff, including the Witsit device, which you should study, and the AI song written about you going to Antarctica. And
there's an AI song about that. Where did you post that?
In chat.
You did? Hold on.
That's a chat GPT.
Oh,
prompt.
it's just the text. It's not the actual music.
No, I didn't go that far.
The nursery rhyme about B-ball. Okay. Duffy and the final experiment. Okay, so who had ChatGPT write this?
I did. I had to modify it. I had to add like you and Ruhif and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And some of them. It was all based on Humpty Dumpty.
I see. Michael McToon sat on a wall. Michael McToon had a great fall. All FDFE's antics and Ruhif's claims couldn't put Duffy together again.
Wow, that's original.
Yeah.
That's quite unique.
All right. So what?
Right.
I mean,
back to Jesse's share screen.
Yeah, let's see here. All right, we're watching.
So this is north up, and on the left here is Union Glacier Station, which is where the blue ice runway is over here.
Yep.
And that's where the big planes come in from the mainland. And then about 11 miles over here is the actual Union Glacier camp, where they have their little tent city.
Okay. All right. Right on. All right, and if you zoom in, do you see? Oh, you do see some structure there. Okay.
Yeah, at both. There's buildings at the runway station, and there's also buildings at the camp.
Awesome. So, all right, I'll do that. I didn't know. I hadn't looked into where it specifically was.
Why is there shadows on the north side of those?
Why did they not line up? Oh, why are the shadows to the north? How does that happen?
I don't know.
That's a bit of a problem already, isn't it?
Perspective.
A degree of longitude will be 1,085 feet for you there, Mike. I'm sorry, a minute of longitude will be 1,085 feet.
And a whiteout affect his 24-hour sun. But I think, what's his name's onto it, because he's got a 24-hour panoramic view or something, is that right? Yeah,
Dan, are you listening to something?
Dan, I think Dan's bleeding through. I think he's trying to distract us.
Yeah. All right. All right.
So you could take a laser rangefinder.
Your memory was right. Your memory was right when you said 1.8 kilometers, and he just said 1,800 feet. So you got that 1800.
Yeah, I'm not going to claim that I was correct on that.
No, it's 1.0.
Mike, Brian FE Test is here. You can get his opinion on the last experiment.
Oh, hold up one sec. I just have to give Brian perms.
On the
Brian, go ahead and join and rejoin, and you should be able to talk.
Anyway, Mike, you should.
Come on, man.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Mike checked. Oh, thanks. If you can bring a laser rangefinder that'll go 1,100 feet, that would be great. Maybe a reflective target. Other than that, you could literally just pace it off because, like at my latitude, it's more like 4,500 feet. So even just pacing it off in normal steps and filming you pacing it off in normal steps is going to tell whether it's closer to 1,000 feet or 5,000 feet, you know?
Yeah.
In the snow?
Yeah. Or you could take 1,000-foot tape measure.
Well, it's hard snow. Remember that. And it's in the summer. So it's like walking on pavement.
Yep. All right. Did Brian show up again? Is he? There he is.
You should be good to go to speak, Brian.
All right.
Yeah, let me finish eating, man. Let me finish eating, and I'll shake it up a little. And what's up, Jesse?
Hey, Brian.
Brian, just I was in the process of rapping here actually, and not rapping like yo.
Wrapping up.
It's MC Tune in the his house, not that kind of rapping.
I get it.
So, do you claim that you're going down to Antarctica, Michael?
People often do say down when they refer to south, and being who said that, Rick or Terry? Is that Terry?
Well,
no, me. Terry.
Terry said
okay.
it. Terry.
I thought these all sound the same, don't we?
I thought it was Terry.
That's it.
But anyway. But yes, we do generally say that Australians are down under, don't we?
Yep.
That's that Eurocentric privilege.
I blame the Northern Hemispherian navigation people that started all this stuff years ago.
Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you get to be on top? About time we were on top, and you can be on the bottom.
Did you say you're in Victoria, Terry?
No, I'd never say that. Don't you dare swear to me.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm a New South Welshman.
Oh,
New South Welshman.
Originally. Yeah, me too. Originally.
I live in the best state.
There you go.
All right. Well, I have a big package that arrived today in the mail.
Nice.
Wait,
I'm glad you finished that sentence off.
TMI.
All right, Jesse.
Are you going to unwrap this package and show it to anyone?
I shall open this package. Anyway, Sea Lion, thank you for hosting.
Thank you very much, Mike, for stopping by, and for all the flat friends that stopped in to give their perspective as well. We always very much appreciate it, and everyone else as well. Thanks so much.
Jesse, send that to me when you're done with it.
Will do.
Like to see, yeah. So, all right, everybody, thanks a lot, and we'll see you Discord guys later. All right, there we go. That's not what I wanted though. I want this one. There we go. Well, that was a little less hostile than last time on the Earth Awakening server. So, and we've got Tyler432 who's derping up the place. Thank you for bringing your derp, Tyler. We do all appreciate the copium that you've been that your Flurfkin have been spilling all over the place. It's been very entertaining. Let me read a few things here, and then hey Tyler, if you're still here and you want to spew some derp, we'll be entertained by it. MK Ultra says sugar and Coke, therefore Earth flat. Well, at least he's original. Yeah, it's like a box that's got a whole bunch of yarn in it, and all the yarn is tangled up. You pull one strand of it, and all of it moves. That's their conspiracy nonsense inside their scrambled up brains, I guess. I know, right? We all know. They can't just separate things out and just, have a conversation about one topic. Icy Spin says, here for the evidence. 1, sunset explanation. I quit. They can't explain the sunset. That's what's so funny about it. They're like, the sun's going to set. Actually, the flat Earth doesn't predict the sun will set. The flat Earth predicts the sun will stay up the whole time we're there, just north, and then northwest, and then north, and then northeast, and then north, and then northwest, and then north, right? It never will go south of you. That's the actual geometric requirement for flat Earth. So it's a Gordian knot, absolutely. Which is a band that I like a bit. It's pretty cool. Generally, Shady says, Flerf says cray cray as a truck of crayfish on PCP. Yep, lots of cray. Sea Lion Prime says, sorry folks, we reached DanCon 1, tactical mute button engaged. Dan, here's the thing about Dan. When I go, sometimes I'll jump into a server when Dan's there, and Dan and we'll have just a nice little talk. It'll be calm. He won't go postal. Sorry. But for some reason, if I'm live streaming, we get that version of Dan. I don't know. That's why I said, like, I like him. We get along with them. I'm good with them. But for some reason, if I'm going live, nope. Lisa says, please check your email when you have a chance. So Lisa sent me an email showing because she sent a bunch to the GoFundMe. So she funded a bunch. Thank you very much, Lisa. It was extremely generous. So I'm very nervous about being able to have enough to go, and things like that make me less nervous. Because I know I'm going to have to pull the trigger before I get to the final amount, I think, and then hope that enough more comes in between when I pull the trigger and when we go. So Sea Lion Prime just says, will the energy generated from flat earthers moving the goalpost be enough to power the sun simulator? More than that. The goalpost moving, that guy that said that he's on the fence, there's no such thing as on the fence. If you are not well enough versed in the elementary school understanding of geometry to understand that the sun could never set if the earth were flat, then you're not smart enough. Right? You've already entertained the idea that, oh, maybe that's not the absolute deal breaker for flat earth. Yeah, you're not that bright. You've already entertained too much. So anyway, thank you, Lisa. Got your email. Melodic Lyrics says, Dan has evidence with no predictions and no measurements, so not evidence. So yeah, so when Dan is like, you know, the Net Geo thing, so Net Geo, National Geographic did a document, not a document, I think an episode or something on flat earth, testing flat earth, right? And so that was kind of Nat Geo's evidence that the earth is a globe, right? Now, I don't use that as evidence the earth is a globe, but for some reason, Dan has to demand that everybody else address someone else's claim for the earth being a globe. That's not how it actually works. I don't think the National Geographic program was that good. So I would say, no, don't anybody put that forward as evidence. It's not great. It wasn't meant to be a scientific experiment. It wasn't meant to be a rigorous, test. What it was is a show. It had a script. They had actors. These actors said that they were not scientists. They were scientists. Like the acting that they did said things that was the opposite of their actual position. And it was presented as a documentary instead of these people are acting. I didn't like that. But it's not meant to be a rigorous scientific proof or, evidence for something. It's a show. It's what they do in shows. The script says this happens. And then they're out in the field. They're like, oh, well, today we're filming this thing that's supposed to happen. Okay, well, let's go have that thing happen. And they do their best at making that thing happen. But they're filming. They have a budget. They have a timeline. The end of the day reaches, they're like, well, we need to make sure we're doing the thing that's on the list for today. And so then it gets to editing, like, well, that wasn't quite right. So what do? Well, they do what editors do. They make it match the script. Whatever. It wasn't their purpose. You have to realize that. And for some reason, flatties don't quite get that, right? I suppose if they ever looked at the internals of how shows are made, they might have an idea. I don't know. Anyway, MK Ultra says Flat Earth cheap knockoff. Dan the crybaby guy. Oh, he gets worked up so quick. Calm down, Dan. Sea Lion Prime says this video stuff is the perfect example of the excuses, moving the goalposts, and other dishonesty that makes us dislike Flat Earth in general. So that was referring to when the guy was like, well, we want the raw, the original. Like, you have it. It's the video. Just that the frame rate's different. So slow it down. So if maybe I should go grab that video. If I can. Grab the video and change the frame rate so that an entire rotation of the sun from one point to the next takes 24 hours, and say, there you go. There is the version of it presented in real time. Would he accept that? Would he have a problem with that? Of course he would have a problem with that, because now it wasn't 30 frames a second. But anyway, our plan is, when we are there, is that we will have raw, not full, real-time video taken with a camera at 30 frames a second, 24 frames a second, whatever. Real time of the people walking around, the people talking, of all of that stuff happening in real time with the sun. Here's the people walking around, and there's the sun. That's the plan. Here's the challenge. You have to swap batteries. You have to swap memory cards. The VR, the Insta 360 VR camera is it's two fisheye lenses on one body, one camera body. So they get 180 degree views in two directions, and then it's stitched together digitally. So we're like, okay, well, we have one of them here like this, and then another one, because this is the stitching on this interface, and then another one here rotated 90 degrees so that when the sun crosses the stitch for this one, it's not crossing the stitch for this one. And then we'll have a third. This is what we're talking. Is this what we need to do? We have a third camera recording those two cameras with the sun in view, so that during the swap overs, the cuts in those two, you can still see the sun with that one, right? Do all that, they will still have excuses, because Flat Earth is not a rational position. Flat Earth is a religion. If it was a rational position, they would look at the same evidence that they accepted on the North, for the North. They say that level of evidence and say, oh, that's all we need in the South. Same. Oh, actually, the South is much better, and there's a lot more videos. Oh, awesome. Well, great. That's better than the North. No, they don't. Yeah, Icy Spin, while making sure that Witsit and Jaren are not in camera so that they can't complain. So the ALE documentation says that the contract that I have with ALE is that I won't film other participants except in normal, like, overview shots. That's okay, right? So if I'm filming here and they're over there somewhere, then they're going to be in the shot because they're in the general public area of it. So, yeah, but where's the original footage? Okay. PhD Tony says, you say it's a bad look to deny reality, but when did Trump ever admit he lost? I don't think he did. Lord Illuminous Pooh says opinions are like buttholes. It wouldn't hurt so much if you just relax a little. Oh. But sometimes you've had too much cheese and it's just, it's not, you're gonna, nope, nope, you're like, I'm gonna have to work this out with a pencil. I think my grandpa used to say that about people that had constipation. Sea Lion Prime says, maybe if you have to keep assuming sun simulators and multiple suns, your model is silly. It's a great point, Sea Lion Prime. And they never address this. How does the multiple suns, how do you go from one sun to the other sun without noticing the transition, right? They're like, well, it'll set. Okay. The one sun goes, sets. When did the other sun show up? Did it, this is setting and this one is rising, swap. Like you'd see two of them at the same time. One would go down and then the other would come up. It wouldn't do a smooth line, smooth curve. It would go bounce like that. How would that happen? Same thing with the sun simulator that Dan really didn't want me talking about. For some reason is gatekeeping me going through the numbers on that one. Is it going to be on a blimp? You're going to have a blimp up there? Of course, the problem is you would see it. The entire sky is lit up blue. So it's not like it's a spotlight shining on you. And if you think about this, if you're at a concert and there's the stage is lighting, if you're outside at night and the stage is lighting the crowd, when you look up to the sky is not blue. The sky is black. So how would a sun simulator make the sky be blue instead of black if it's just like some sort of a spotlight 1 to 10 miles away? Really stupid. Icy Spin, you mean two suns further complicates the flat earth problem? It does. It's the fourth law of Flurf. Sea Lion Prime says flat earthers conflate heliocentrism and the globe as a Mott and Bailey strategy. It's Witzett's signature move. It certainly is, Sea Lion Prime. He does that with motion of the earth as well. So Witzett likes to talk about the orbital speed of the earth, right? And he swaps in daily rotation of the earth as it suits his need, right? He has this script that he goes through because, well, first, absolutely declare irrefutably he does that the ether exists, right? With no evidence for it. In fact, with him saying that you can't have evidence for the ether, but it totally exists. Just a religious position. And then look at something like Michelson Morley, right? That didn't measure any differentiation between the Earth's position or velocity and the hypothetical ether, right? But Michelson Morley, in their very first sentence, say, "We know that the Earth's moving because here's why: aberration of starlight." So, but then he swaps in rotation of the Earth. When he did it when he debated FDFE back in May. It's dirty. It's dirty how he does it. Sea Lion Prime says Bev tries thinking, but he hasn't succeeded yet. And Bev's name on different places is Bev Try Thinking, which he's not done. He's never done. Kango44 says, could we figure out a trip to end stupidity in general? No. I'm like, the Third World War is a war against misinformation. Because the bar's been lowered and it's trivially easy to get misinformation out there. And how do you fight against misinformation? Well, one way would be aggressive censoring. That's not a good way to do anything. So I don't like that. Josh, I'll read this right now and I'll get back to Josh Garber says, did you hear about the constipated mathematician. And Zumi says, did he work it out with a pencil? Okay, back to, oh my goodness. Josh comes in with the answer that Zumi missed. The answer is he worked it out with the slide rule. And yes, I have a slide rule right here handy. Why doesn't everybody? Of course I have a slide rule sitting here. So the how do you fight against misinformation? I don't have an answer to that in a broad sense. It's, I fight against misinformation in one mostly vertical, right? And if this vertical goes away after December, which I would be completely fine with, absolutely. Flat earthers like, you need us. No, we don't. I'm employed. And if you all go away tomorrow, I'm still employed tomorrow. But the flat earthers that rely on the money, right? There's a bunch of them. They need flat earth. Their income goes away tomorrow if flat earthers don't exist anymore. That's why it's a threat, right? Flat Earth Dave goes from making what he's making today to zero as soon as flat earth goes away, right? But there's more misinformation. So I'll just, unless I feel like, nah, which I don't think I'm going to, I'll just go after some other misinformation. I can't believe the 5G and misinformation is still out there. It is 9 years since the 3GPP specification release 15 was released. 9 years. That's the 3G specification, the first version of it. 9 years, and they're still saying all sorts of crazy things about 5G. None of it's true. On Twitter a couple days ago, they're like, here's how you turn off 5G on your phone. Like, that makes your phone less safe. They don't get it. All right. Calder Vasald says, I know it's not much, but here's something to put toward your trip. I hope to see Witsit lose his chocolate ice cream emoji when he sees the 24-hour sun for $5. Thank you very much, Calder. I shall put it to good use. Hopefully recording that, and maybe he'll say, don't put me on the video, and then I'll just have to blur it out and put up the, I think, even more funny Charlie Brown adult speak with a blurred thing, and then maybe subtitles underneath. I don't know, but it's not going to stop anything. I'll tell you that. Sea Lion Prime says, thanks so much, everyone that came over to join the panel and server, and to MC Toon for the event. Thank you very much, Sea Lion, for hosting it. Again, the link to that Discord server is in the description. If you're interested, pop in. It's a pretty good Discord server for, it's called Globe Gangsters. So, yes, Globe Gangsters, like the Flat Earth Gang on chat, on Clubhouse. This is the Globe version of that. Yep. They walk around. They've got, what's his name? Yeah, boy. That guy. I forgot his name. At the clock. Anyway, the Globe Gangsters walk around with a gigantic fake gold blingy necklace with a globe hanging there. Right. And they got a, they're like, I got a pipe. And if anybody don't believe Globe, I'll take it to you. Big clocks. Come on, people, help me. Help me. What was that guy's name? Flava Flav. Like, he's the most ridiculous, caricature of a rapper with a giant clock. I love it. Anyway, all right. Josh Garber with his constipated mathematician worked it out with the slide rule. We got PhD Tony again, comes in with the Finnish government has instituted misinformation training as part of their secondary schooling, recognizing faulty or manipulative arguments. There you go. So that's not censorship. That's training people how to identify it. It's a good point. So like I you know, block. I work hard to block malicious emails, especially phishing emails, and it hurts. We're like, we see the aftermath. Somebody's like, a ticket comes through. They're like, how did this get through? I'm like, well, it was a one-off message, personally crafted for the person that they found on your website listed as the accounts payable person, right? That person's personal information is available as well online. They maybe went out and found some personal information about them. And the CEO also has information. And then they crafted an email that looks like it's from the CEO to the accounts payable person to put together some sort of a thing, right? And so the recipient of that email already has a confidence relationship with the CEO, but wasn't aware that it was not from the CEO. Right. So how do you deal with that? Well, you need to train the people, right? You can do things to block those messages, but there's always a way around it. You need to train the people. Well, what do? Well, look at the email that it came from. Send a qualifying email back to get some information. Talk to them through a different channel. All these things need to be taught, right? And there's services that do these types of things, like KnowBe4. Is a well-known training organization that a lot of people pay to train their employees, and they send them test emails to see if they do the wrong things on it. So anyway, this is now I got a box. I got a box in the mail right here. It's a little big. I think the box actually is not as big as the contents. So are you here, Lisa? So this is about a month ago, I was talking about I need to upgrade the hard drive system on my computer here. Lisa reached out, did a super chat during a live stream that completely paid for this. So very much appreciate it. Let me put away my Batman knife. There's Lisa. All right. All right. Packing slip. Fall to the ground. There you go. All right. See it here? You can't see it here. I can switch to this camera. Let me see if I can zoom out. There it is, the Yada Master. So I looked a lot, and on my Discord server, I asked a bunch of people to see what they thought. And so here it is in the box. I'll take it out of the box. So what is so this is for the hard drive. I'm not going to tell you everything, but I got a lot of data, and it's all backed up on Dropbox. So the way that I'm storing this is not redundant locally, because it's all on Dropbox. So there's the box there. So I have already some SSDs. Currently, I have 3 spinning hard drives that are 12 terabytes each. So I have 36 terabytes. And I have about 1 to 2 terabytes full, kind of back and forth, because then I'll go clean out some stuff. But they're spinners. They're getting a bit aged. So there it is. They're getting a bit aged, so they're not quite as performant as they used to be. Yeah, there it is. So the cool thing about this is the really cool thing. This is daisy chainable. So this has the answer is this has a 5 bays in it. It's a single USB plug. So on my system, it takes up a single USB plug. There you go. And is then 10 gigabytes per second because it's USB-C, 3.2 Rev something. They keep changing the names. I can't keep up. Anyway, so and then here is the drive sitting here. So I've got a couple SSDs ready to go to put in, and I won't do that right now. I'll do it later. But so, and then I even checked. They have some high quality USB-C cables, and it even has a screwdriver and the correct screws. So anyway, this will be useful in liberating more Flurfteers. So what do? I have lots of videos. I have all 2076 of Arwen's videos, for example. So if you've seen me do a montage of the Flatties saying things, it's the system I've built. It's the automation I've put into place. So what brand of hard drive will I use? These Micron. So what is more reliable in the long run, SSD or spinning disk? That's a good question, and I don't know if there's an answer to that. It depends partly on what you're doing. If you're doing lots and lots of reads and writes, lots of writes, then SSDs tend to wear more than a spinning drive. So anyway, that was so exciting. I will probably not go to bed until I have it hooked up. So is it, Slithery says, is it an actual NAS with a controller, or does it just present all the drives to the host over a single USB connection? The latter. So right now I have 3 external hard drives that are all connected to USB on a single hub. So I've got a high-speed USB or high-speed Thunderbolt 3 hub, and then these drives are plugged into it on USB. And then on the Mac built-in operating system supports JBOD. So JBOD is just a bunch of disk. So if you format it and say this is a JBOD and only put one drive on it, you can then later add another drive, and it'll just add more space. And it's uneventful in the end. It's zero event. It's here's a new USB device, add it to the JBOD, and then it goes from 12 terabytes to 24 terabytes. That's it. No event. And then you add the third. So I did these, right? You add the third, and it goes from 24 to 36 terabytes. Meh. That's it. So when I do this and I add these drives, the computer will say, meh, there they are. It's uneventful, which is really what you want, right? When you want nothing exciting when it comes to drive space, you want it perfectly boring. There it is, and it just does its thing. So, and then the cool thing is with JBOD, you can actually retire drives. So I can say, well, this spinning drive, I don't want it to be used anymore. I'm going to move everything to SSDs. You can do that and just say, deallocate this guy, and then it moves everything. This takes a while because it actually has to move all the data to the new system. And then at some point in the future, it says, you can now remove this one. So you just remove it. So there it is. And the cool thing I showed you is this can be daisy chained. You can have up to 3 of these in a row. So I can have 15 drives on one USB-C connection off of the computer. And then, so I can have 15 drives, which is plenty of drives. So that will last probably indefinitely. I don't think I'll get that far. So anyway, there's that. See, we got my Xbox X is two 2 terabyte external hard drives. That's pretty cool. What is the power draw with 5 drives? That would be nice to know when it's fully engaged. SSDs don't take much, right? It's going to be based on the drives, and so it completely depends on the drives. Spinning drives take more power. SSDs are much less power, so it depends on the individual drive. I haven't looked up the specs on the drives I'm looking at here, but SSDs are not too bad on power usage. And then, like, if you're looking at spinning drives, if you have a 10,000 RPM drive versus a 7,200 versus a 5,400 RPM drive, then those change as well, because the faster they spin, the more energy they need to continue into it. So, Icy Spin, how much are you asking for first-time customers for Toon Drive? It's Dropbox. Dropbox is what's on the other end of all of this. So I had the unlimited version of Dropbox until they discontinued the unlimited version, and then they said, okay, well, to get the unlimited version, you have to have at least 3 enterprise licenses. Each license is $30 a month, so I pay $90 a month for Dropbox. That's for my backup. But right now I'm on a discount. I only pay $60 a month. And I think it's 45 terabytes, and somebody else is using about 10 of it. So anyway, PhD Tony says, you know exactly how many videos Arwen has produced, and you are happy with your life choices. Tony, yeah. Here's this is even I looked at, so I went into my folders, and I'm like, well, which ones are using the most space? And I'm like, well, all the folder that has all the videos that Flat Earthers have made is that folder. And then I go into the folder and I say, okay, which Flat Earthers have taken up the most space? And Arwen's near the top. So I wrote a Python program to use FFmpeg and FFprobe to scan the directory and find alphabetically videos that are not yet HEVC encoded, which is H.265. It's an improvement to the video encoding, which is 264. It's the next step up. You get about the same quality of video with half the bit rate, or a better quality video with the same bit rate. So program I wrote, little Python program with some command line things to customize the quality. And so I just pointed it at Arwen, and it just started converting them. And that's been weeks. It's been converting to HEVC Arwen folder for at least a month, I think. And it's in the 1200s, 1300s, right in there. So, and of course they get longer. His earliest videos were short. So, how many flies has he insulted on stream? Anyway, that's a little peek into it. So, yes, compression algorithms being pushed to its limits. The thing is about HEVC is that it is encumbered by patents. There are patents to it that are not freely available. So it's not a preferred compression algorithm, because anybody creating software for it has a potential liability that they need to pay for licensing of those patents. And if it's open source, then that's a bit more difficult. So there's this AV1 format, which is a successor to AV9. So AV1 and HEVC are compatible in amount, not compatible, competitive in quality and bitrate, but what was the letters? AV1. AV1 is like It's not encumbered by patents, but the software support for it is super, super basic. So, you know, we're a 2-3 years from software and hardware probably being ready for AV1. So, so I'm like, well, it's going to be HEVC for now. So, Peachy Tony, yes. Zoomy said you asking an AI to do all that is just begging for the AIs to take over. Your computer will be the beginning of the AI overlord. I'm not asking AIs to do all that. But yes, sometimes I do feed stuff to an AI and say, what about this? And then, you know, after a bunch of threats and complaints and saying, what the hell are you giving me all this flat earth nonsense for? Arwin again? Yeah. The AI gets sassy, but then it gives me the answers. I'm kidding. I do use ChatGPT is useful, but you cannot trust it. You cannot trust it. Okay. People, thank you very much. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to next week, Tuesday. Something will be on Tuesday. Wednesday, have confirmed debate with a guy that's going to provide a mechanism or answer to the 9.8 meters per second squared downward acceleration. Looking for that because I'm sure it's going to be an absolute mess. You ever walk up onto an error dialogue after weeks? Well, yes, and then I fixed it. Like, I'm running I have two computers here. One of them is running Arwin. One of them is running a different thing. And I'll go and it hit an error and then stopped. So I'm like, oh, I was gone all weekend. It could have been churning on that all weekend, but no. So now I catch the error. I move the file out, or I write it to a log file so I can look at it later, and then it goes to the next one. So anyway, people, thank you very much. It's been great. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Again, thank you very much, Lisa, for helping out on the drive that will produce Flurf Tears. Here we go.
MC2, drop that beat.
All right. Let it flow. Let yourself go. So I know that is the tempo.
So, yeah, let's do this. So
let's do this. Yo, it's MC2, the debunking tycoon. I shatter flat earthers, make them face the moon. Your attempts are decent, but they'll swoon in the face of my logic like a deflated balloon.
Oh, MC2, the one to soon cartoons. On your real say, send it first to their dues. Your theories are like old brooms, sweeping ignorance or just spreading the views.
FDFE stands for fumbling the facts, evidently. I drop truth bombs so splendidly. Your approach is soft, mine's unrelenting. I bring the science while you're just venting.
MC2, the buffoon with silver spoon. I tackle pseudoscience, make them change their tune. You're the sidekick, I'm the room. When it comes to debunking, I'm the room.
But hey, FTFE, we share the creed to educate and debunk the plant the seed. Though in this rap, it's clear indeed I've got the upper hand in word and deed. Alright, hold on a second. The Zoom call died. Everything died! No!